is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Well, we got something to look forward to beginning today. Believe it or not, despite how we may feel about the team and how the offseason has transpired, pitchers and catchers report for the Philadelphia Phillies. Baycare Ballpark, Clearwater, Florida, one of my favorite places on this planet Earth, which is why I'm going as a family vacation in April, even after spring training. I love it down there. Just closing my eyes and imagining it makes me happy, and it makes me happy that baseball is right around the corner. Good morning, John Kincade.
We liked it last fall when we were down there with the birds.
Love it down there.
We enjoyed it.
It's just such a great place.
It is nice.
If you can ever find the time, the means to get down there, I would suggest it. Spring training is so much fun. The vibe is tremendous because there's no pressure. There's no pressure.
Other than the traffic on 19, there's no pressure.
Yes, the pressure, the traffic sucks depending on the time of day.
Right.
But when it comes to baseball in Clearwater,
it's awesome.
There is no pressure. And then the season starts. And then we start talking about
and then
this,
the pressure
this baseball
begins.
Team. Right.
Right.
And as you and I have talked a lot this offseason, especially with the way that this offseason has transpired, with the moves or lack thereof that Dave Dombrowski has made, even you, John Kincade, has opened the door to people to say, wake me up when October.
I've changed my stance officially, and we did this during the post-show headlines during the offseason. And you made me commit to it because I've always been somebody who has been, I think, changed. The person who says wake me up in October is unfair. I take that back. After the disappointment of 23 and then 24 and 25 failing to deliver more than one playoff victory in either year, I understand now. Absolutely understand. So now I'm fine with it.
Now, that does not mean we're not watching.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch.
I was thrilled.
You should still watch. But I think, again, it's all semantics. It's all terminology. Like, you can watch game 1 through 162 and still say none of this ultimately matters. What matters is the playoffs because they have built that team. They have had those disappointing ends that you mentioned in 23 and 24 and 25. So they brought this upon themselves. And by the way, I'd rather be in that situation. Right, that means my team is a contender. But bottom line, I understand when you listen to the show, I'm very upset with what the Phillies have done to me. They hurt me.
Right.
But I would rather talk about the Phillies than the White Sox.
It doesn't make you a better fan, though. You're not a better fan if you look at your team just through Phillies-colored glasses. I was thrilled this morning to get out what I sort of call, because I'm shade blind, I call this sort of fire engine red to me.
Yeah,
red. The Phillies red. I was thrilled to be able to say, okay, baseball season's upon us because football season ending so early sucked.
Yes.
So to me, it's something to look forward to. I'm very much looking forward to having Phillies baseball back, but I'm not looking forward to really the understanding of what Dave Dombrowski just inspires no confidence. Howie Roseman, to me, despite them never being able to seem to follow up these great seasons when they go to Super Bowls, he inspires great confidence in me.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him do it, the Houdini act, over and over again. Dave Dombrowski, to me, inspires little confidence.
Yeah, we played the end-of-season press conferences in comparison. Dave Dombrowski, after losing in the first round, was,
just one little
one throw.
Well, bad luck here, bad luck there. We're World Series champs.
We beat the Dodgers, whereas Howie's like, this is unacceptable.
Yes. The Eagles have a standard the Phillies do not. The Eagles hold themselves to a standard that the Phillies do not. The Eagles do not ever bring up, Howie Roseman does not bring up, well, we won 12. You will not hear Howie go, we won 11 games. Look, we won 11 games.
Yeah, no, you even never.
Be happy about 11 games. He's not going to say that. And again, they're not going to. The Eagles on opening night next year are not. And by the way, I did confirm. The Eagles are not going to do a unveiling of a division.
Yeah,
banner.
I didn't think that they would. It's just going to be up there.
The banner will be up.
Yeah. I remember the Phillies did that with the wild card beating the Marlins.
And then it was there, and I was like, what the?
But there was no ceremony because remember, in previous years, on opening day, they actually raised the banner.
Division winner, they will this year. They're going to do it again. I have a feeling it'll be much more lukewarm. The division winner thing going up again on opening day this year, I think it'll be much more lukewarm.
Because it's not just about winning
led
the
to
division.
Nothing.
So Here's where I want to start the show, and then we'll get to Rob Thompson, because Rob Thompson said something yesterday that you and I both made note of. It was right toward the end of the show that we actually touched on it. But I want to start with talking about us, the city of Philadelphia, and what should the attitude of fans be going into 2026. You can tell us what your attitude will be, but what should the attitude be going into 2026? Because this show alone, there's a lot of back and forth with John and I against Connor. Connor, I see everything that you say. Like, you're not wrong. They're a good baseball team, and they just have to get hot and all that kind of stuff. They're a good club, which is why I always say they don't stink. Like,
nobody's saying that.
They're
right.
going to win 90 games, and that excites me. They're going to get to the playoffs, and that excites me. Another Red October excites me. I just hope that the Red October lasts more than 6 days. Like, I want Red October to, like, actually be the month of October and not just a week of it. So what should the city's attitude be going into the season? Because they do have a good club, but if I'm also sort of riding off the words of the president of baseball operations, and he used the word content, like, should I just be content that I have a good baseball team?
No.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what my attitude should be, because I know that yesterday, in the final 30 minutes of the show, scanning through our YouTube comments, and we appreciate anybody who listens to the show, watches the show, however you're a part of it. Oh, my God, the negative complaints about the Phillies. It's like, well, what do you want me to say?
What are you feeling? Like, what are people feeling?
So I'm curious, what should you're Mr. Locked On Phillies podcast. You know the disappointing ends, but you also know the talent this team has. So what should be the attitude, and can you blame people that may not have it?
I absolutely cannot blame people that do not have it, but I'll tell you where I'm at, because I think people misconstrue what I say positively about the Phillies to me thinking, oh, they're going to win the World Series this year. They're better than the Dodgers. 2 words, 2026 Sixers. That's where I'm at with this team. I'm going into this because I know I'm going to enjoy moments this year. I know there are going to be things that they show me in the regular season that I really enjoy. And the emotional investment or the belief that they're going to have postseason success isn't really there for me. I know they're capable of it based on the roster, but I also know they're not going to show me anything over 162 that's going to change. Now, I can never be with this baseball team a wake-me-up-when guy, because I still think they're too talented over the course of 162. Like, I think that's wasting your summer with a team that's actually a contender. But I'm looking at them where I'm not even considering playoff viability, because it doesn't matter what they prove to me in the regular season.
Yeah, well, so that when you say you think it's crazy to say "wake me up" and waste the summer, like,
because nobody's not watching.
I don't.
That
Yeah,
says
I don't
"wake me
think
up." They're still watching.
I don't think there's somebody that says that will actually not watch a pitch and an inning, a stretch of games. Like, this town. This town loves its baseball, right? Like, I understand that when they don't make the playoffs for 10 years, people don't go. Jimmy Rollins wasn't wrong, right? Like, and that's any market.
What market do they go?
That's not like something out of the box that when a team stinks, people don't go to watch that team unless it's a football team, because of, it's the Eagles.
Sure.
But you know that ballpark is going to be packed this summer. You know that there's going to be people tweeting about the Phillies this year as much as they did last year and the year before that, because people love this team. But I also don't blame anybody that goes, I'm going to watch the game, but I'm not going to get myself overly excited that they won 5 straight games, because it's all going to come down to the playoffs.
Or buy into the viability.
Yeah, here's what I mean, right? I think it's sad that we're at this point.
It is
right?
sad. They've sad.
Done it. They've done it to us.
They have. Yeah, it's not us.
Yeah, it's not.
It's them. Like, the quality of the team. Me comparing this Phillies team with an MVP runner-up, a batting champ, a Cy Young runner-up, a 2-time MVP, and saying 2026 Sixers coming off of like a 24-win season is who I'm comparing them to. That's a low bar. All due respect.
It is depressing. But and for whatever reason, like, when you say that, because you are usually much more positive than most, especially when it comes to the Phillies. When you say that, I get confused as to why there's so much pushback toward the negative vibes of this baseball team, right? Because they are the ones that did this. This isn't drama, right? This isn't like, was that A.J. Brown?
No.
This is just results. And the results are they have a good baseball team. They have a good club.
Got a good club.
They get to the playoffs. they pee themselves in the playoffs. The last 3 years, they have legitimately soiled themselves in the playoffs in big moments. And it's the big-name players. It's the most expensive players, which is why they've not really been able to sign other big-name players because they have these guys locked up forever. And we go into a year. I know Rob Thompson will tell us a million times that they're not running it back because they've changed over 26% of the roster, whatever the hell number he came up with. But you look at this team and you go, all right, it is very similar. And it's the same team that's come up small in the playoffs the last 3 years.
Yeah, the only difference with the Phillies compared to the Sixers, I'll keep making this comparison because they're both the wake me up when team right now in town, is there's a world where the Phillies win. I don't think there's a world where the Sixers win the finals this year. But with the quality of the roster, there's a world where they win. So and baseball postseason, we know how much of a crapshoot it can be.
I know. I
hate
it. I do hate it because
especially when you know that this team, though, it's a crapshoot when you have players that can handle postseason. We don't.
I'll continue to push back on that.
I mean, we've seen nothing.
They have
but
not been able
They fold the tents at the biggest moments. So many of their key players.
They have not been able to collectively put it together.
Yes.
Right? Like Harper and Castellanos were great against the Mets.
Yeah, they had some great
Kyle
series.
Schwarber and Brandon Marsh were great against the Diamondbacks. But like that's two players, and unfortunately, because expectations and standards continue to rise, and now pressure, because we're now talking about almost an apathetic fan base, they're going to get tighter. Unless they do the whole us against the world thing, or we all we need,
oh, yeah,
right?
exactly.
Quote Malcolm Jenkins. Unless that's their attitude, if they are going off of the vibe of this city, the vibe right now is we're excited to watch this baseball team, but you better freaking come through in the playoffs. And the second that they give up a lead or it's a tight game, I'm going to be under the impression that they're going to lose it. Come playoff time. I'm not talking about May, June, July, August when the pressure's not really there. I'm talking about October. And that's what they have done. It has nothing to do with my takes. It has nothing to do with my baseball acumen, which is very highly intelligent. It has everything to do with what they have done the last couple of years. And what they've done is disappointed. So what should the attitude of Phillies fans be going into 2026? You could tell us what yours is versus what should, because mine is, I'm excited, but I'm waiting till October.
I'm excited, but I'm excited every opening day.
Yeah, like
I'm excited every opening day.
I don't have much juice going into the season right now, other than it's baseball,
and that's on them.
That sucks.
That's on them. I mean, I've seen a president of baseball operations who does not understand how to manage a roster. A guy who has mismanaged the Castellanos situation.
Currently.
Mismanaged the Bohm situation. Yeah, I'm not talking about a Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah, right.
That means nothing to me.
I got you.
It means nothing to me. He's come here, and he hasn't delivered on any of that. Like the guy you thought you were getting, it's nothing like it. He has an outfielder and a third baseman who he's just completely mismanaged. He's made those assets absolutely worthless because of the fact that he talks trash about his own players. Yeah. So bad.
Nick Castellanos, still a member of your Philadelphia Phillies.
You don't want to see injuries, but there is a chance with the major injury with the Blue Jays yesterday that they could be looking
Anthony
for
Santander.
And they could be looking for a right fielder. So there is a chance that they could potentially do something there.
Yep. All right. So what should the attitude of Phillies fans be going into the 2026 season? That's where we're starting, 610-632-0975. It's going to be a big Phillies day today because pitchers and catchers report. And at the end of the show yesterday, we saw a quote from Rob Thompson, and we now have the audio for it. Rob Thompson.
Is there a laugh track with it?
Well, look.
Is there a laugh track with it?
You know what he's going to say. I'm not surprised by anything that he says.
You see, you don't have to. The thing is, though,
I know we always go over this.
You don't have to say this. You could say something positive. You don't have to go here.
Well, this was what Rob Thompson had to say yesterday when they were getting ready for the pitchers and catchers to report today.
We can't forget that we won 96 games last year, and we got a really good club, and we're going to turn over probably 20 to 25% of our roster, and that's not including having Duran for the entire year. But I like the improvements we've made to our bullpen. We got a new right fielder. We're going to inject hopefully some youth into our team with the Crawfords of the world and the Painters of the world and Otto Kemp. Miller's not far away, and I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it this year than I was last year because I think we're better this year on this day this year than we were on the same day a year ago.
He's absolutely certifiably out of his mind. He's out of his mind. Last year on this day, you had a healthy Zach Wheeler.
Yeah.
Out of his mind. Completely. Last year on this day, you had a healthy Ranger Suarez. Where's Ranger? Oh, he's in Boston. You're out of your mind. Last year, you knew who your right fielder was by a guy who absolutely had been one of your most clutch players. Whether you liked him or not, he was one of your most clutch players in critical situations. Now you're going with a guy who statistically in major categories is worse than the guy that he's replacing. He's out of his mind.
So look, if we
this.
were to do like a side by side, we all agree that the bullpen is better this year.
Much better.
Like it's.
I love the bullpen.
And,
it.
And he's right. Like Topper mentions, we didn't have Duran going into the season last year, even though they had him last year. They didn't have him going into the season. They also didn't have Brad Keller, right? And
I'm a huge fan of the bullpen.
the addition of
Love
Brad
it.
Keller brings Jose Alvarado down to, well, he could be your left side eighth inning guy, or he pitches in the seventh, and you're going Alvarado, Keller, Duran. Like that's lethal. Like that is a really freaking good bullpen that the Phillies are going into the 2026 season with. So he's not wrong if we're talking specifically bullpen. But if we were going to break it down like position by position, catcher's the same, just another year older.
But he's not better. He's a declining asset.
Who?
JT
No,
Realmuto
that's
is
what I'm
not.
saying. Yeah,
like JT Realmuto is not better this year than he was last year. But you can't say Bryce Harper is better this year than he was last year. He also declined. Bryson Stott is not better than last year. He did not take a step forward. Trey Turner was better than the year before.
Yes, he was.
Hopefully
Batting
they
champ,
can
baby.
Hopefully they can get that. You have a third baseman who, once again, you couldn't trade.
That you've tried to trade for 2 years.
I mean, seriously, you don't have a center fielder who's proven at all.
You didn't last year, though.
You had a center fielder who you knew more of what you could pencil in than we know this year. Now, I'm very excited to see what he can do. I wish he was the left fielder. I don't think they're doing him any favors making him a center fielder in that ballpark. And by the way, they told us last year they didn't think they were doing him any favors making him a center fielder, but for some reason they had to do that. This team is not better than last year. He's out of his mind. Starting pitching's not better.
Is the biggest fear. Because here's the deal.
No, it's the biggest fact.
Yeah.
That it's not better.
Like when people go, why are you like so down on the Phillies? It's not that they're gonna win baseball games, but last year we talked about the rotation going into the season, right? Like, man, this rotation is going to be really freaking good. Coming off of the previous year where we were comparing them to the 2011 Phillies. Remember, we did a segment on that where
right.
It was Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, and it wasn't even Suarez. It was who's the guy from Detroit that came here for the first 2 months of the season was like 8-1.
Why is the name?
Like he was
just talked about him.
He was like ridiculous, and then he got hurt because that's what his career was. Because he unfortunately always had
Spencer Turnbull.
Yes, Spencer Turnbull. Yeah, like he was really
Spencer
good.
Turnbull.
And we were going, man, statistically, not resume wise, but statistically, the 2024 Phillies rotation was better than the 2011 Phillies rotation. And then we said, wow, they could probably get better because a lot of people going into 2025 were picking Christopher Sanchez as like a dark horse Cy Young candidate. And it played out. This year, you don't have Zach Wheeler to start. He'll come back.
He'll come back.
We don't know who.
Most likely 4 to 6 weeks. It's from what the whispers are. They're
Say
they're
May.
optimistic that he's doing okay. Yeah, exactly.
But Wheeler's not going to start the season.
So that's not better, and you don't know how he's coming back.
Ranger Suarez is gone.
Yes, Ranger Suarez is a huge gap. He arguably is your most clutch postseason pitcher. You're not better.
I need to see Andrew Painter first. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fair.
excited. I
So
need to
am I.
see it first. Right now on MLB.com, because they did the projections for all 32 rosters, the opening day roster. Your rotation is Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola, Walker, Painter. That's your at least until May rotation. That doesn't scream success to me.
Yeah, that's two guys who got Cy Young votes.
Two.
A proven veteran guy, a top pitching prospect, and Taijuan Walker had a really solid year last year.
He did. I'm just not like, I got Taiwan.
No,
I mean,
you
know what I
shouldn't
mean?
be.
Like,
but
I'm sorry.
if
You are not better. But the answer is, you're not even close to last year. Correct?
completely disagree. I think they're better this year.
How?
I do. And you saying they're not even close to last
They're
year.
not even
I don't know
close
how
to
you can
last year
make-
because you've taken away who replaces what you got out of Ranger Suarez.
you hope that you somehow get that between Painter coming in and then Nola being better. You hope that the aggregate between
Okay,
those two
The
gives you
hope
that.
is not the answer, though.
Okay, well, we're projecting out, right? We are.
Yeah, but you
have
can't
to.
say. He's saying decisively, we are better today.
Yeah.
Not hoping we're better. He's saying we're better. You can't say hope. The answer has to be we're better. He says we're better.
Yeah. I agree. That part may be worse, but that's not the whole team. The bullpen's significantly better.
I love the bullpen. We all agree on.
Yeah.
Like,
The outfield
we
looks
are
significantly better than what it was last year.
significantly
I
better.
don't
They have
know
one
if
of the
I
worst.
can go significantly.
They have one of the
Okay.
worst outfields in baseball.
Clearly, they are better this year than what they trotted out last year on opening day.
What do you know about the center fielder?
The center fielder, I know that he can play center field at least a little bit.
They didn't. They told you that he was a
and
left
he hit
fielder.
330 last year in the
Yeah,
minor
look, I'm
leagues.
excited. I'm
AAA?
excited for Justin Crawford.
I'm excited.
Here's what I'm excited about.
We know nothing about him.
As of right now, I think there's a plan in the outfield.
Yeah.
Now, last year there was a plan, and that lasted 4 games. Brandon Marsh was going to be the everyday center fielder, and then Johan Rojas played the 4th game of the year because there was a lefty on the mound. By the way, Spencer Turnbull in the month of April 2024, 5-1 with a 1.67 ERA.
Is it? Okay, if I told you that at some point in this year, percentage-wise, Phillies go shopping for an outfielder,
Over 50%.
Yeah, definitely over 50.
absolutely.
All right, coming up next,
That tells you what they think of the outfield.
Johnny Marks. He addressed us yesterday, Johnny Kincade. He addressed our feelings about the 2026 Phillies. I also wonder how many people he was addressing other than just you and I. You'll hear his response. I believe he called us negative Nancy's. Coming up
There
next,
we go.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Pitchers and catchers report. I'm Connor Thomas, and pitchers and catchers are reported in Clearwater today for the Phillies, officially marking the start of spring training. And with that, Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski recently met with the media to talk about where the team stands coming out of the offseason. We'll hear from the manager who talked about, well, the team's better this year than they were last year.
I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it this year than I was last year because I think we're better this year on this day this year than we were on the same day a year ago.
Obviously, there's debate with that, and we will continue to talk about that throughout the show today, but we will see if the Phillies can live up to those expectations. We still have well over a month till opening day, but we'll keep you updated on all the Phillies news from down in Clearwater. Sixers will wrap up their pre-All-Star game schedule with a home game against the New York Knicks tonight. Embiid, Grimes, and Dominic Barlow are all questionable. That game tips off at 7:30. You can hear it live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And the Eagles, they made some retentions in the coaching staff yesterday, keeping running backs coach Jamal Singleton and wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead for next season. So they will remain with Sean Mannion on the new staff. Adam Schefter joins us coming up at 8:05 for his breakdown on what's been a turbulent stretch for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
This is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
A quick update in the world of sports outside of Philadelphia before we hear from Johnny Marks, who attacked us yesterday on Middays with
I
Marks.
can't wait to hear this.
Last week, or 2 weeks ago, you did a story, Connor, in today's headlines of Jackson Hayes, the player on the Lakers who shoved the mascot.
That mascot was asking for it.
The mascot has officially lawyered up.
Oh.
And there will be.
I told you.
There will be action. Now, there is a quote that they are going to give Jackson Hayes the opportunity to resolve the matter before
in other words,
taking legal action.
Pay him off.
Right, exactly.
Pay him to go away. And if I was on that jury, that kid's getting paid.
Yeah.
That mascot's getting paid.
But if I'm that judge, if you want the money, you got to go to court in the mascot suit.
Deal.
That's fine.
Deal.
I'll do whatever you want. That is it.
You know what?
You're going to act like a JO like that? You are getting paid.
That's a major update in the world of sports.
No, I wouldn't pay a lot. I wouldn't get him paid a lot.
Yeah, just
But now he's getting paid something.
make sure his neck doesn't hurt anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? All right. So the Phillies pitchers and catchers reporting today. We'll get to our text messages here in a couple minutes. 610-632-0975. What should the attitude of the fans be going into 2026? We played the audio of Rob. Now, going into the 2026 season is better than the team was going into the 2025 season. And I push back on it. Now, not the entirety of the team. The bullpen is better. No argument. Like the bullpen is. If you are arguing that, you're crazy. But there are other areas where I can't say, yeah, just because it's a new name, it's going to be better. Like I don't know if Dallas Garcia is just going to all of a sudden be drastically better than Nick Castellanos.
You can't say that. There's no documentation to say that. The two players are clearly a wash. Statistically, they are a wash.
Except for
Offensively,
defense.
yeah.
Defensively,
They're a
Dallas
wash.
Garcia is a stud in right field, which is important because we've talked about defense on this team for a while. But the strikeout rate, which is even worse, like here's the deal. Like
He's a black hole of strikeouts.
we complain about the slider low and away to Nick Castellanos. Well, get ready to learn a Dallas Garcia, buddy. Like it's not much different. Now, his power, if it comes back, he hit 30-plus home runs in that stadium in Arlington, Texas.
3 years ago, right?
Yes. That ballpark, the ball does not fly. We know that the ball does fly in Citizens Bank Park. So hopefully he finds his pop. But again, I am going into a season hoping for a resurgence from a guy that you're going to bat, what, fourth? Fifth?
On a 1-year rental, the Phillies are plugging a guy in on a 1-year rental in the middle of their lineup. That's a bad sign to begin with. It's a horrible sign.
We'll see. I mean,
You're betting on a
wait
guy.
and see.
You're betting on a guy to rebound from 3 years ago. Not a great strategy. I think it's a bad strategy.
Yeah. Guess what? They did that last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
terrible.
But here's the thing: like Otto Kemp, Brandon Marsh platoon in left field has to be better than Max Kepler, and I feel better about Crawford than the Rojas Marsh platoon in center.
Look, I hated Johan Rojas.
You did not like Rojas at all.
I never hid my feelings about Johan. I think he sucks. Like I think he's a really bad baseball player. And I didn't get excited over he played well in the Mexican leagues two off seasons or last off season.
Won the batting title.
He did, but like I just I didn't get overly excited about it, and I am excited about Crawford. Like
Which,
there
by the way,
is a difference.
It's better than hitting 330 in AAA.
Sure. We'll see how the AAA translates to the major league
And all
level.
those ground balls.
You wanted this
AAA.
guy called up all year last
No,
year.
I want him to be the 9-hole hitter, and I want him to be a left fielder. I don't want him to be a center fielder because the organization told us last year they didn't want him to be a center fielder. And the organization told us last year they didn't trust to bring his bat up. They're the ones.
And you argued with him. You didn't
They're
believe
the ones
him
who
then.
evaluated
So why
him.
do you believe him now?
Because Max Kepler and the outfield sucked. I wanted to see it because I wanted answers before 2026. I wanted to have those answers. I didn't want to be going into 2026 not knowing what Justin Crawford is. We don't know what he is. And you guys both agreed with me. You know they're going to be shopping again at the trade deadline for another journeyman outfielder to come in here.
Unless Otto Kemp is indeed the
please.
championship-type player that Dave Dombrowski calls him. Clow-friends on our YouTube chat. Going to really enjoy a summer full of Phillies negativity from Chunas and Kincade.
There it is.
Go take some gummies and give this team a chance.
Yay!
Look, I'll do that later tonight. Don't you worry. But I am giving them a chance. They're gonna make.
Who says they're not
they're
giving
gonna
a
make?
chance?
They're gonna make the playoffs.
Are the Phillies going to win 92 games?
Yes.
Connor? 90 how about 90? How about are the Phillies going to win 90 games?
Yeah, I think they'll win 90 games.
Yes.
They are in the
All right.
playoffs.
We all say they're going to win 90 games. Are the Phillies going to be in the playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So none of us are saying that they suck. None of us are saying that they're going to be an awful team. So Clownfish, is it?
No, Cloufrins.
Cloufrins, whatever it is, that cannot absolutely the critique does not hold.
But the wake me up when October comes, which will be
Does not hold.
You know how the Phillies always have the video yearbook? Wake me up when October comes might be this year's video yearbook title because nobody's going to believe anything they see during the summer. We'll be excited. Kyle Schwarber hits 56 bombs again. I can't wait to watch Schwarber bombs. I can't wait to see him hit the triple deck again.
Hope he does.
But then I'm going to say, all right, hopefully he does it in round one of the playoffs.
Hopefully
because he doesn't.
Hopefully when they're not throwing him strikes. When they're not throwing him strikes and opposing pitchers are just saying we're not going to throw you anything to hit, he can find a way to get on base.
Absolutely. All
That'd
right.
be great.
Johnny Marks has taken some exception with what we've been saying on the morning show here. So this was Johnny Marks yesterday on Middays with Mark.
When he got on a little bit of a roll there, I started feeling it. I started feeling a little bit, Rob, because despite what the negative Nancy's say in the morning with Kincade and Salciunas on 97.5 The Fanatic, I am excited for this Phillies season. I've gotten there. And what he said about the bullpen. Last year at this time, Duran was not in the fold. And they had signed Jordan Romano. And we were talking about, Romano did this and he did that, and he was brutal. So if you look at this, and you look at the bullpen right now, and I know Keller's going to pitch in the World Baseball Classic, and that's a little bit concerning. They have a deep bullpen. I'll say I'll put the lineup equal to what it was last year. Your right fielder may be better, may not be better. Defensively, he's certainly better. And I don't know what Crawford's going to give you. He's going to be better than Rojas, right? Or he couldn't be any worse than Rojas, I suppose. He's a better hitter. He's got a better idea of what he's doing at the plate. Rojas never hit 330 at AAA. So I'm excited to see what Crawford does. Brandon Marsh is Brandon Marsh, and they're not as deep as I would like them to be in the outfield. You know, their rotation really worries me because without Wheeler in there, they're really, really – and that's why I would disagree with what Thompson's saying about, well, we're better off this year than we were last year. They could be. I don't think it's that far off, but losing Ranger and not having Wheeler is a major thing.
Didn't he end up agreeing with us?
John just and I'm glad to hear it. No, I appreciate John Marks doing his show prep, listening to Kincade and Salciunas because he just reiterated every single point that you and I have made. Yeah. I wrote them down along the way. We are both highly praiseworthy of the bullpen.
Yes.
Every day we praise the bullpen. We love the bullpen. We both think the rotation has taken a step down and is a question mark because of the injuries of it. John reiterates that point. Now, he believes the lineup is relatively equal to what going into last year. We agree. My issue with that is you couldn't improve your lineup in the offseason? You couldn't do anything to improve it? You've got the third highest payroll in baseball? You can't improve your lineup? There's nothing you could have done? So you're okay with the lineup just being the same? You've gone to the playoffs the last 2 years and you've won one lame game? And you're okay with it just being the same as last year? How is it negative Nancy when John says the exact same talking points that we say?
I think part of it was he believes he's more excited about.
Why is he judging our excitement? He's not any more excited. Here's what I'm going to say is I'm going to stop. Maybe I'll stop on the way home. I'm going to get Marksy some Q-tips because I'm thinking that maybe, I don't know, is it maybe he hasn't done the good cleanup lately? Because he reiterated the exact points, point for point, that we've made about the Phillies.
Yeah, the disagreement is not with the evaluation.
It's the
disagreement is what the evaluation leads you guys to versus some other
How is he
people
judging our excitement?
He listens.
No, but judging excitement. We're not waking up in October. You're not saying wake me up in October. I'm not saying wake me up in October. So what the hell's he talking about?
You guys don't sound like it.
John, you got to listen. You get part of it is listening. If you're going to critique, you got to listen because it is called objectivity. It's not called pom-pom shaking. It's not called saying things to get clicks for likes. It's called you just gave the exact same evaluation point for point that we give each morning. So if we are negative Nancy's, then what is John? He's got the same name I do. I can't think of a word with with John that is sort of a negative word for John. But if we're negative Nancy's, you're sharing the same opinion we are. It's exciting. Good. Baseball's back. Yes.
I love that.
We're not saying wake me up in October, but I am saying for the first time ever, I am saying if someone tells me wake me up in October, I am not going to tell them that they're out of their mind. And I have.
I'm kind of in a I'll believe it when I see it mode.
And I can't believe.
In October.
And I can't believe with the third highest payroll in baseball that any Phillies fan would be okay with them not improving the lineup from last year.
So,
a lineup that you know doesn't work in October.
Coming up next, we'll check our text line. You can call in as well, 610-632-0975. And YouTube, I would like some responses and not just negative Nancy. What should the attitude of fans be going into the 2026 season for the Phillies? Overall, what should the attitude be? Let's discuss this cordially for once. 610-632-0975. Also, it's going to be mainly a Phillies day today, but we do have an update on the Eagles coaching staff, and a lot of people are shocked. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
From the 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 6:47 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll get to our text line here in a minute. YouTube as well, 610-632-0975, the number to climb in. Our question today, what should the attitude of Phillies fans be going into the 2026 season? Because there are people that don't like hearing negative talk, and I get it. You're fans of the team, so you don't want to hear somebody talking down about the Phillies before the season even starts. But I also wonder, like, where on this team can you act like definitely during John Mark's diatribe that we played, it was, Justin Crawford can't be worse than Johan Rojas. Now, I agree.
But we don't believe he will be. But you have no idea.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm excited for baseball to start. I can't wait. Opening day in March. March 23rd against the Texas Rangers.
But here is where I tell you, and for you guys, you have no point of reference because you're too young. This is where I say to you, and Ricky Patalico could back it up, our older fan base could back it up, your father could back it up. This is when I tell you that this city has completely changed as a sports town.
All right.
This is where I tell you. This is the stuff that I hear. Because nobody would ever – we had writers in this town, the Stan Hockmans of the world, the Ray Didingers of the world, the Bill Lyons of the world, who covered teams, and they covered them objectively. And now a lot of coverage of teams is done by people who cover them more fanboyish. And people have gotten used to fanboy coverage where it's more cheerleading, or they just want to hear good stuff, and they don't want to hear objective coverage of their teams. And that's the difference. There's a lot of people who prefer that. And look, you can prefer whatever you want. I'd prefer to not – I prefer objectivity at all times. I don't want. It's one of the reasons why you and I are both. One of the reasons we get along very well is we both reject. We don't live in a political life, like where we don't watch that stuff. We don't deal with it because we don't want to constantly have that polluting our minds every day. There's people who like that. I don't like it. You don't like it. We don't enjoy it. There's people who enjoy that. It's a choice.
It's also why I don't come on the air here and say the Phillies are going to win 70 games.
Right.
We also don't do
clickbait.
Right.
We talk about all the great things we like. Like, I love this bullpen. And I also believe, and it's something that Connor will go, well, wait a minute, you're going to say, and I'll say it to you right here. I absolutely would always want to go to war in the postseason. If you told me I could have a great rotation or a great bullpen, like if you told me I can have a top 5 bullpen or a top 5 rotation, give me a top 5 bullpen every time to try to win a World Series. And that makes me excited about – that's why I'm not doing Wake Me Up in October. Because if this bullpen rounds into shape as to what I think it can be, that's why I have potential to think better about October this time around, because I would always, 100 out of 100, say I'll take the better bullpen over the better rotation. And that's just me.
Oh, wait.
I love a bullpen. I love a situational bullpen that can my offense get me to a 6th inning.
8 Phillies.
And sort of 2009.
Yeah.
Sort of 2009. I mean, I like that. I like the look. If the Phillies bullpen is what has a chance to move the needle for me with this team. And I love this bullpen set up right now.
And, oh, by the way, it's much like it. Like, 08 was get to the 6th inning. You had your Romero or Durbin, depending on the situation. One of them pitched the 6th. One of them pitched the 7th. Ryan Madsen was the bridge to Lidge, and then he had Lidge in the 9th. Like, it was a consistent formula. Whereas this year, it should be, Alvarado or Keller, depending on the matchups.
Depending on the matchups.
In the 7th inning. Same goes for the 8th inning. Duran goes the 9th inning. And the good thing is about this team, you do have the horses that will get you to the 6th or
Correct.
pitch the 6th. Like, it's not just get me through 5, Brett Myers, and let's throw somebody out there, or Jamie Moyer. Other than Cole Hamels, it was just give me 5 innings and the bullpen will do the rest. This year you have the I don't want to say embarrassment of riches, because the Zach Wheeler thing we still don't totally know about, but you have guys that will get you through 6. And then you have the bullpen. So that is something to be excited about.
I am extremely optimistic about this bullpen. And I think it has a high ceiling, a really high ceiling. So let's hope. I didn't like the fact that Duran last year, though, his worst outings were in some of his biggest outings.
Yeah,
that
don't worry
scares
about
me.
that.
Yeah.
His postseason resume in Minnesota is unbelievable. He just had a weird stretch at the end.
Well, the resume was short.
It was
Right.
real short.
He had opportunities in Minnesota.
I'm just saying it was.
But it was short.
It's short here in Philly, too.
No, I know. I'm not worried. I'm just saying I would.
But even in the regular season, his worst
Minnesota.
in his regular season, the bumps he had in the road in the regular season were in some of his biggest games.
But you're right. In 4 total appearances in Minnesota, 5 innings did not allow a run.
Right.
Just allowed 2 total hits.
Yeah, it's not a guy who we haven't seen him in the moment's too big. He's going to be fine.
I'm
I think so, too.
I'm so excited for this bullpen. That is what can move the needle for me, is to say when October comes. That's why I'm not going to be a wake me up when October. But I'm also not going to tell the person who says wake me up in October this year. I won't say, man, I think you're nuts, because I understand it this time around.
All right. Before we get to our text line, by the way, the Eagles coaching update, Aaron Moorhead back, which a lot of people are surprised by because it was not necessarily a great year for the wide receivers.
No, it certainly
this year.
wasn't, in fact.
So I'm not outraged. Sean Mannion retained him, right? This was not Nick Sirianni retained him. It was Sean Mannion built his staff.
I thought they said Nick Sirianni retained him.
So Sirianni.
The official response was Nick Sirianni retained him. I read that. I mean, unless that's Manny retained.
Well, Aaron Moorhead's back. People were shocked by it because I think a lot of people wanted him fired. Also, no update on Kevin Patullo, which means he's still here.
How can Kevin Patullo be in the building?
They love him.
No, but how? How is Sean Mannion having to have him around his staff? Because to me, here's what I'd be thinking. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to Kevin Patullo, but I'm going to be disrespectful to the situation. Hey, Nick, what's he saying in that room? What's he doing in that room? Because Nick's not in every meeting with Sean Mannion.
Right.
He's not around every little thing. Yeah, what are you hearing? Eyes and ears. I'd be thinking, here's Nick's spy. Here's Nick's buddy. Here's Nick's LeFou. He's got him.
I hope that's not.
It's exactly what I'd be thinking.
Yeah. Well, I just, for his own pride's sake, I don't know why you would stick around.
Maybe he's not. Maybe one of these other staffs hasn't snatched him up.
Maybe. Who knows? All right. What do we got on the text line? 610-632-0975. What should the vibe or the mindset be going into the 2026 season for the Phillies fans?
John in PA checks in and says, my attitude going into the Phillies season is this. Have fun with America's pastime. Be hopeful that the starting rotation is firing on all cylinders. Beg the Pobo for an upgrade in the lineup. And pray to the baseball gods that our top 3 hitters can actually hit in the postseason.
I love that Who is that?
John.
John? Now that's a really good John. That's a smart John. Yeah. I'll co-sign that. We're right with him. We're hoping for it.
I saw somebody on YouTube saying it's okay to be skeptical, just don't write them off.
And nobody's writing them off.
They're gonna win. They're gonna be in the playoffs.
And if we were writing them off, I would absolutely believe that anybody has a right to say, yeah, that's being negative, Nancy.
Yep. All right, coming up next. Yesterday at the end of the show, we did a homework assignment. Professor Andrew. You were Professor John at Temple. I was Professor Andrew at the Fanatic.
And the kids had a great day yesterday, by the way.
Who are the 5 Phillies you are most confident in? That was the question. There was no for playoffs for anything. It was just who are the 5 Phillies you're most confident in? Do we all have the same answers? We'll go through that next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Bills head for Clearwater. I'm Connor Thomas. Pitchers and catchers are reporting to Clearwater today for the Phillies, officially marking the start of spring training. And with that, Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski recently met with the media to talk about where the team stands coming out of the offseason. Dave Dombrowski discussed the plan for Nick Castellanos, who is still part of the roster, but with his replacement already on the roster, what's happening with him?
Well, we continue to talk to clubs about that, and that's our focus prior to the start of spring training. So that's something that we'll continue to work on this week.
Is that something that you hope to have resolved this week?
Hopefully, yes.
So expect the decision on all the Phillies news from down in Florida. The Sixers will wrap up their pre-All-Star game schedule with a home game against the Knicks tonight. Embiid, Grimes, Barlow, all questionable for this one. That game tips off at 7:30. You can hear it live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Running backs coach Jamal Singleton and wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead are both being retained by the Philadelphia Eagles. Bit of a surprising move to some who thought it could be a full redo of the offensive coaching staff. We'll keep you updated on that, and we'll talk to Adam Schefter coming up at 8:05 for his thoughts. This update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone with AutoZone. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
Now, it is 7 a.m. here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5 Fanatic on this Adam Schefter Wednesday. Shefty joins us coming up at 8:05 today. Talking Phillies to start the show. What should the attitude of the fans be going into the 2026 season? Look, for those of you who say don't write them off, we're not writing them off. But
We made that
I
clear.
also can't help myself but say I'm disappointed by how this offseason has played out, much like I was disappointed by how the offseason played out the previous year, much like how I was disappointed how the trade deadline played out back in 2024, that would be, or 2023. And I've been saying that Dave Dombrowski recently has been living off of his resume in Philadelphia, and I don't know how anybody can push back on that and tell me why I'm wrong.
Do you think anybody who is telling us that could call us and say why they why they're positive on it?
They can.
No, but I mean, or can articulate why they're positive on this offseason? This offseason's been terrible. I mean, it's been bad.
Connor, how would you, because you're Mr. Positive when it comes to the Phillies, the Philadelphia Positives, how would you...
That's what the P stands for.
How would you...
That's what the P is on.
How would you grade the Phillies' overall offseason?
Probably like a B-. I mean, it's nothing special. What I will say is they don't get enough credit for retaining Kyle Schwarber because the assumption here was like, oh, he was always going to be here. No, don't laugh. People forget.
People forget that they signed Kyle Schwarber.
I'm not Dave Dombrowski. I can't be held to his words.
I can't believe he said that.
Yeah, that was dumb. They don't get enough. Guy was runner-up to MVP. He was on the open market. They brought him back. That's a win for the organization. I like the Keller move. Garcia taking a shot has upside, but they were never going to have enough flexibility to make monster moves this offseason. They tried to make one, but anyone who's giving him more than like a B- is crazy. anyone who's giving them less than a C, I think, is being too critical.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a failure of an offseason because they legitimately made an area of this baseball team much better. And from pretty good to elite. I don't know if I want to throw that word out there, but
We'll see.
The Keller being added to a bullpen with Duran is scary good.
As I said to you, the day that Keller signed, I spoke to one of his former teammates who told me that's an A signing.
Yeah.
Loves the guy. Great teammate. Great stuff. Thought it was a great signing. So that sounds fantastic.
Yeah. The problem is a B- offseason, considering what they're up against and what we've seen recently, isn't good enough to make you believe in this team.
I'm
in
giving it a
postseason
C.
viability.
I'd give it a C. I'd give it a C offseason. It's because I really do love the bullpen, but I hate the signing of JT Realmuto for $45 million. Absolutely can't stand it. You bid against yourself. For
I would have
reason.
taken him back for this season.
I would have taken him back for this season. Nobody was on. He had no multi-year deals on the table.
Yeah, that's the only deal I don't like, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all right with Schwarber. I mean, I think you bid against yourself because he wasn't going to Baltimore. He was not leaving the Phillies to go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
But I don't. But I think that's fine. Wasn't going to Pittsburgh. He was going to be here. But that's fine. I have no problem with Schwarber being a part of the Phillies.
Dawood wants to know, can Keller hit lefties in the postseason?
Look, I just would want to hear one of these people that's so positive going, this offseason, it sucked. Because you didn't improve a team that has given you 2 postseason wins the last 2 years. After winning the division, they dialed up 1 win. And by the way, they have looked terrible in both of their postseason series.
Yeah.
Dodgers and the Mets. Terrible. Self-inflicted wounds, just a terrible performance.
Yeah.
So that's like
Dave Roberts said they got lucky to beat the Phillies. And a lot of people say that the Phillies just were unlucky.
Dave Dombrowski. Yeah.
All right. 610-632-0975. We'll get back to our text line, but we had a homework assignment at the end of the show yesterday. Do you have Amy's answers, Connor? Because it was a pop quiz for Amy because every Tuesday and Friday, Amy's with us in studio from 8 to 10. So obviously she's not with us today. So she got the pop quiz. Me, John, and Connor had the night to think about it, the homework assignment. I asked the question.
Now, I did not put mine. The only thing I didn't think of is I didn't put them in 1 to 5 order. I just put the 5.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, I can.
I
can.
did, yeah.
I know who my 5 are, so
All right.
I can put them in order.
The 5 members of the Phillies that you are confident in. Again, I didn't even say postseason, right? Because we know that
you're
it
saying
sucked the last couple
who are
of
you
years.
confident in?
So go ahead, Johnny. I want you to go.
No. Let's throw Amy's first.
Oh yeah, that's right. Amy
I'd like
already
to hear
did it.
Amy's
What
first.
did Amy say? She said one name that I did not agree with, but go ahead.
And she couched it with something. But Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Christopher Sanchez, and she rounded out her list with JT Realmuto, but she did mention as a battery mate for the pitching staff.
Because he is a tremendous catcher still and runs that pitching
I was
staff well.
floored.
His confidence.
If Realmuto is on your 5, if he's on your 5 list, that's bad.
I get what she's saying though. Like that that every day, but it's like when we talk about Harrison Bader. Nobody's saying that Harrison Bader was Willie Mays, but like if they re-signed him, you knew that every day center field's locked down. I know that every day behind the dish, JT Realmuto does his job at a very, very, very well.
But he's a declining asset.
He has been
a declining asset.
I still think he's exceptional.
He's one of your
plate.
top 5 guys on this roster.
Not me.
Not mine
No, what I'm
either.
saying is no, but that's what I'm asking about Amy.
Yeah.
One of your top 5, your team's in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, if you value what pitchers say about him, where it's just like, I can't shake this guy off because he just knows so much better than most other people how to attack hitters, that's valuable to some people. I don't agree at top 5, but I get it.
All right, John, who'd you have?
Okay. I would go, if I'm going number 1, my number 1 guy would absolutely be Kyle Schwarber.
Okay.
As far as, if you're talking about confidence in, I've seen enough of Kyle Schwarber during his Phillies career. I'm just going to pencil it in. If you're talking number 2, as far as confidence in, I think I'm going to surprise you that I'm going to go with Christopher Sanchez.
It's not surprising. I have him on my list.
That 2 with Sanchez. I'm going to go 3 with Johan Duran. That I think he's just a guy that you can pencil in and put as number 3. So I've gone right there as ones that before I get to Bryce Harper. And Harper's 4. I would imagine that on your lists, Harper is going to be higher
No.
That he, no, that's interesting because
Mine's
I
lower.
thought. See, now I thought he'd be higher than that as far as 4. I really stressed on 5, which I think is a really bad sign as far as deciding who do I have confidence in. And just on the stat line, I put Trey Turner. But it's just on a stat line. I'm not enthused by it, but I put Turner at 5.
Okay. Connor, who did you have as your 5?
All right, so my number 1 was Joan Duran. Like that guy is as consistent gets. And maybe for a reliever it's easier, but he's number 1 easy. I know what I'm getting out of him this year.
Yeah, you know that
You can pencil in a certain
going into
amount
the
of
ninth
number, right.
inning, if you have the lead, odds are you're going to win.
90% of the time, he's going to have a good outing.
Yeah, he pitched 20 innings for you last year. He's normally right around 60 to 70, so you're getting 3 times as much Duran.
Yeah,
I feel
no,
great
right.
about that.
Yeah.
2 is Kyle Schwarber because his stat line's been so repeatable with the Phillies. Number 3 is Christopher Sanchez. Number 4 is Bryce Harper. And number 5 is Trey Turner.
Okay, so it's your list is the same list as mine, same 5, just a different order.
I have Schwarber 1, consistency. I have Sanchez 2.
That's what I have.
I have Duran 3, only because he's a ninth inning. Like,
Yeah, I feel
you
you.
know,
So do I.
Schwarber and Sanchez,
Wow.
because I have to rely on this bullpen a lot this year.
Yeah, I can't put a new guy.
And I'm going to put
Well, I
Keller
can't
4.
put a new
I
guy.
have Harper 5. And here's the thing with Harper.
Over Turner.
Yes.
Really?
Here's the thing with Harper. It is strictly gut feel. It's vibes. It's like that. Later today, we are going to go through an article. Booney, who is the producer of the TV broadcast for Unfiltered, he wrote the 5 storylines that he's most excited for, spring training storylines, not opening day, not April, not the 2026 Phillies, spring training. And one of his storylines was the Bryce Harper resurgence. And I feel like he will have a resurgence this year. I can't base it off of anything. I can't tell you declining asset. I can't tell you. I strictly feel. And part of it is he got called out by his popo. And I would imagine a guy like Bryce Harper, who has played at the highest level in Major League Baseball, he's a 2-time MVP, that he's not going to have a repeat performance of what we saw last year. And so it's strictly feel for him.
I just don't dig feelings. I don't dig
I know you're
feelings.
anti-feeling.
I'm anti-feelings. I just can't do the feelings thing. But I do have Harper's 4 on my list, so.
I mean, he's Bryce Harper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Right, but
and he's Bryce Harper. How old is he?
But he's Bryce Harper without power. That's the only
We
thing.
do not know
We
that.
don't know that. He's Bryce Harper, 33. I'm not saying.
How about
Oh,
Bryce
he's
Harper?
Miguel
How
Cabrera
about
when
Bryce
he was
Harper
40.
declining power asset?
Uh,
We do know that.
We don't. We don't know that.
It's crazy because
What do we not know?
last year, he still ended up hitting 27 home runs.
that? Okay.
Despite missing 30 games.
Okay.
And also just not having a Bryce Harper year. Like, it didn't feel like he hit that many.
It doesn't.
So
right?
what does a good year for him feel like? 40?
Remember 2023? He finished with 21 home runs, and it was like, is that low or is that good? Because he only played 126 games. Remember, he started the season with the bionic arm. And then all of a sudden he went on a tear. Like, I still believe that there are Bryce Harper tears where he just hits the cover off the ball
Maybe
for
don't
almost
say
a month.
Bryce Harper tear.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Stretches.
Stretches. Thank you. There's stretches. I don't think he's going to hit 40 bombs anymore. By the way, he's only done that once in his career. But do I think he'll still hover around 30? I do.
I don't,
do.
but that's hovering around 30. I think he's going to be hovering around 25. But which I think is significant difference, especially with what he's expected to be for this lineup. He's supposed to be the face of this franchise, the centerpiece of the franchise. 25 home runs ain't it. 75 RBI. The number of runs batted in.
No, who's protecting him? Like, I don't know what this lineup's going to
You just went and got a journeyman to protect him.
Well, and last year it was supposed to be who? Castellanos was supposed to protect him, and then eventually Alec Bohm. And, like, that's not going to cut it. So I don't know. Like, is it going to be – what did they do majority of the time last year? Was it Turner Schwarber? Was that the one,
Turner
too?
Schwarber,
Right,
Harper.
Turner Schwarber Harper.
And then after Harper was Bohm. And that's why Harper got nothing to really swing at, because they didn't fear Alec Bohm. They didn't fear Nick Castellanos. They didn't fear JT Realmuto. Whoever batted fourth, they trotted out a lot of people in the 4-hole last year, and none of it really worked. So if Adolis Garcia is continuing to decline. I don't know how much protection Harper has. If Adalis Garcia has the resurgence that a lot of people are hoping for, then yes, that'll help out Bryce Harper. But again, that's a roll of the dice.
The Adalis Garcia, the Phillies are the team betting on him to have the resurgence. The team that had him didn't bet on it, and nobody else around Major League Baseball was banging down the door to say, yeah, let's he's going to have that. So the Phillies are betting to be the smartest guys in the room on Adalis Garcia.
I just like the 1 year, $30 million contract for him because you're paying 20 to not play Nick.
That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
It's a good team.
It's a good club.
It's a 1 year, $30 million contract for him. He's only seeing 10 of it.
We don't know yet. It could be a 1 year, $29 million deal if Toronto wants a right fielder.
Yeah,
and I do think someone's going to call last second, but they may just say, you know, we don't want to pay. We're not going to pay them $1.
Let me ask you: if you went to a store and the salesperson comes up to you and they just say, "This, we got a great deal for you. This item right here, 95% off," and then they also tell you in a week it'll be sitting out on the curb and you can just come by and pick it up.
No.
Are you paying 95% off?
No. On the next week, it'll be sitting out on the curb, but you have to potentially fight people to get it. You don't necessarily get to just pick it up.
Yeah, I got you.
You have to then fight people to get it. And Amy said the same thing on the show last week that I said. And again, with this, there's just one thing about this departure of Nick Castellanos. And again, I am not an expert on the Braves clubhouse. In the Phillies clubhouse. Don't go into it a ton every year, 10 times, 12 times. But what I will tell you is, I believe if they had a vote in the clubhouse, there would be a lot of people that would be like, sad to see him go. It's not like he was a cancer.
No, but
it's not like he was this terrible person. There's one guy who's glad to see him go. And he's got his Fanatic socks on and his Fanatic jacket on and he's gonna tell you how much he loves you. He's glad to see him go. But Castellanos is the guy who told him. There's a lot of guys in that locker room who I think are going to miss Nick Castellanos.
Yeah, they like Garrett Stubbs too.
No, it's not the same thing. It is not the same thing at all.
All right. What do we got on the text line, Connor? 610-632-0975. If you want to chime in on the 5 Phillies that you're most confident in, you can as well. But our question that we started the show off with, what should the attitude of the fans be going into 2026? Because there are people that say, come on, they're a really good baseball team, just enjoy the ride. And I am going to enjoy the ride. But I'm also going to say what happens in June and July and in August – I can't say is going to carry over into October because, unfortunately, what has happened in June, July, and August and September leading to a 96-win baseball team did not carry over into October. Same with the previous year against the New York Mets, and we all know what happened in 2023 against the Diamondbacks. And I'm not getting fooled anymore. Like, that's my biggest thing. Like, I think there are people that still get fooled that come playoff time, this is the year it's going to click. It might, but when it doesn't happen, again, I'm sorry to bring it up, but Connor, when you and I were at the watch party at Patty Wax, like, I didn't react when Strahm gave up the home run. I was very like, yep, that happened. And then when the bats did nothing afterward, I was very, that sucks, man. Like,
most teams too.
Walking to my car now.
And most teams that change their October fate, that stick around for a while, they change their October fate by changing out pieces.
And they did.
And they keep, critical pieces. They bring in a new critical face that changes things up, that changes the energy. They just keep bringing the same key pieces back and saying, this is the year,
we'll
baby.
see. Can Crawford and Painter change
Crawford's a 9-hole hitter.
The energy? Well,
and Painter, if Painter can give them, Ranger Suarez has been their best clutch pitcher in the postseason in the Phillies run, the 4 years. Ranger, overall, and that includes probably Wheeler. He has been as clutch as any pitcher on the roster. You think Andrew Painter's giving him that in 26?
I don't know, but I know that Ranger Suarez made his first start in May last year, so at least you got a guy.
He gave him 26 starts. You're making it. He gave them 26.
What am I making? I just stated a fact.
He gave him 26 starts. He missed 4 starts for where he was in the rotation. He missed 4 starts for the year. Ranger Suarez gave them 26 starts. Ranger Suarez is a guy who is the clutchest pitcher they had in October's. So you think that a rookie who they didn't even trust last year because he couldn't get guys out in AAA is going to step in give you all the reliability that Ranger Suarez gave you during the regular seasons, and then he's going to test for Andrew Painter. When I hear Ricky Pitalico talk about him on Unfiltered and what Ricky thinks of his stuff, I'm very optimistic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very optimistic. But to think that he's going to have the ice water in his veins that Ranger Suarez had, that's uncharacteristic.
They did, yeah, but how did they use Ranger in the postseason?
Well, they misused him because you had Sleepy Rob making very poor decisions. If they had used him in game one, I still insist they win that game.
I agree.
Sure.
All right.
They win game one.
Starting pitching wasn't the issue, though.
What
They
do we
can get
got
by.
on the text
No, they use him as a
Connor?
reliever in game one.
Dave in Halifax checks in, says, wake me up in October is BS because it's still baseball. It makes you only a casual fan if you feel that way. This is a very good team who will entertain, infuriate, enthrall, frustrate, but in the end, it'll be a hell of a ride worth taking. Baseball season is the best 162 days of the year.
It's only you're only a casual fan if you're not watching during the regular season. If you say wake me up in October, but you're watching every night, you're not a casual fan. You don't tell anybody else they're a casual fan if they're watching every night.
I watch the Sixers, except for like the 16 game West Coast road trip every night, right?
Yes, you're not.
And I'm not telling you that they're going to the NBA championship. Does that make me a casual fan?
No, it does not.
Yeah, casual.
You're not a casual.
I watch the Sixers team every night. I love that they're actually winning games this year. I love that I'm not miserable like I was last year watching them play. Last year was a black hole in my Sixers fandom lifetime.
The Sixers are giving us something like I love, and as I told you, we talked about on post show headlines the other day. The Sixers season this year has really interested me because I like watching young players.
Yeah.
So to me, I would rather watch young players than a bunch of old guys on the roster. Like Daryl Morey's been collecting, the Golden Girls. Taking a page out of Dave
I'm not telling you that
Dombrowski's.
they're going to win a championship.
Right.
So, like,
So that doesn't make you
that
casual.
doesn't make me a casual fan. And who knows? Maybe it clicks. Just like the Phillies. Maybe they do get hot. Maybe, like in 2022 and 23, the Dodgers get knocked out by another team. I just don't want to rely on that. That was
Somebody else to do your dirty work for you.
Yes.
Yeah, here's the thing. There is absolutely zero anything that the Phillies could have done this offseason to make them better than the Dodgers
agree with you.
on paper.
I
Right?
agree.
There's-
On paper, I agree.
Whoa. But here's the thing. If the Phillies just do the basics last year, they absolutely could have beaten the Dodgers in that series.
Exactly.
Could have won game one just doing the basics. They could have beaten the Dodgers, but they don't do the basics well. So they show you all season long we're a team that fundamentally is a poor baseball team.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like Trey Turner making a bad throw at home is not surprising.
It's what Trey Turner does.
You know what I mean? Like that sucks. Like,
Yeah, listen, all my thing is if people thought this offseason was going to make you feel like they were going to beat the Dodgers, it never was. And if you feel like they don't have a chance, well, I think they do.
And everybody's got to remember, last year, the Dodgers, the Phillies were the better team. The Phillies were the home field advantage team.
They had the better
were the
record.
better. Yeah, they were the better team.
They were not the better team.
Oh, they were the better team. Yes, that's how
That's a
you
crazy-
judge.
that's a
They're the
crazy
better-
argument
hey,
to make.
They're the
Yeah,
better
not-
team. They had home field advantage. They're supposed to
Yeah,
win.
I
Bro, you're the only person that's ever
Go win.
argued that.
And they blew that series.
Stop it.
Blew game one, blew game two.
they were not the better team.
There you go. They home field advantage, baby.
All right,
Couldn't do it.
Coming up next. You mentioned post-show headlines. We have a post-show headlines topic making it to the airwaves in the next segment. Basketball made me think of it, but today's baseball also makes it interesting. Explain more coming up next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, guys, 3 days away. Yeah, you're probably saying, oh, crap, aren't you? 3 days away, Valentine's Day. It's almost here. And if you're still dragging your feet, here's my advice. Go to Family Company Jewelers. Make it easy on yourself, all right? You go to Family Company Jewelers, Route 70, Marlton, New Jersey, and you are guaranteed to walk out with something that will make you look like an all-star this year. They have the huge selection of 24-karat gold-dipped roses. I actually just posted a video on my social channels yesterday, both Twitter and Instagram, Salciunas975, same handle for both. And you could see me give you a little bit of a tour of the showroom on Route 70, and you saw some of the beautiful 24-karat gold-dipped roses. So check that out. But it's not just all about the gold-dipped rose, even though if you mention Fanatic or Andrew at checkout online, you'll receive 10% off any gold-dipped rose. But they also have other incredible gifts. Obviously, diamond earrings, necklaces. And if you are planning on popping the question, You can do that as well. It's where I got my engagement ring and also the wedding bands for my wife and I. First anniversary gift, first Mother's Day gift, you name it. Diamond studs, gold bracelets. The options are endless. So go to Family Company Jewelers, Route 70, Marlton, New Jersey. You can check them out online, familyjewelers.com, but check out that showroom, man. They got all kinds of great options for you to choose from. South Jersey's Valentine's Day destination.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Spring training gets started. I'm Connor Thomas, and pitchers and catchers are reporting to Clearwater today for the Phillies, officially marking the start of spring training. And with that, Rob Thompson, Dave Dombrowski recently met with the media to talk about where the team is coming out of the offseason. Rob Thompson talked about his belief that the team is better at this point this year than they were at this point last year.
I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it this year than I was last year because I think we're better this year on this day this year than we were on the same day a year ago.
Now, of course, the Phillies are going to have to prove that, and there's a lot of skepticism with the way the last couple of seasons have ended, and there's still well over a month till opening day. So spring training, well, it's just getting ready. Still good to see the Phils back on the baseball diamond. The Sixers will wrap up their pre-All-Star game schedule with a home game against the New York Knicks tonight. Embiid, Grimes, Barlow, all questionable for the game. That game tips off at 7:30. You can hear it live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And the Eagles are running back some coaches on the offensive staff, including running backs coach Jamal Singleton and wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead, who are both being retained. Adam Schefter will join us coming up at 8:05. This update's brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Score unbeatable deals and get matched with the perfect bed. They make sleep easy. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParx app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParx online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, 7:31 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Yesterday on post-show headlines, which is something we do every single day after the show. So if you go to the Fanatic page, much like a lot of people do daily to watch the shows live, obviously us here, Kincade and Salciunas, and then Middays with Marks following, we also have all different kinds of tabs, right? Like we have, Phillies-related content, guests, you name it. And there is a tab for post-show headlines, which is a segment that Johnny and I do every show. We talk about some stuff that continue from the show that we just did, or sometimes we get into just like out of left field topics.
Yes.
And I asked John a question yesterday that he said, write this down and keep it for the show. Because we were talking about the NBA yesterday and how much of an issue the league has right now with this tanking, right? And it's bad. Like, I understand the Sixers did it in a way that was embarrassing, but
the most embarrassing. They caused all this.
To be winning in the third through three quarters and then sit three of your best players in the fourth quarter, which is what the Utah Jazz have been doing, like that can't be okay. We had Amy in studio yesterday. She said it doesn't break any rules, but it's a gross thing to do.
If I'm at that game, like, I'm furious.
Yeah, because imagine being a kid, like a little kid. Think of this is what gets lost sometimes with these, especially this league, right? The NBA. When I was a kid, I fell in love with the sport of basketball. I also was able to watch a team that was pretty good, right? They had one fantastic run, the 0-1 Sixers, but I grew up with guys that played every single night, right? Like, you knew that if you were going to the Spectrum or the FU Center, right? Like, you knew that AI was going to be on the court. You don't know that today. You don't know the poor kids that I traveled X amount of miles to watch Jimmy Butler play. Remember that kid last year and Jimmy Butler didn't play? Now,
right.
Good on Jimmy Butler, gave the kid a pair of sneakers, which is cool. But, like, the kid traveled whatever miles to watch him play. And then
I'd rather get the sneakers.
And then he doesn't. Yeah, because that's a pretty cool story. But, like, between tanking and load management and all that kind of stuff, the NBA has trouble afoot, and it needs to get fixed quickly, and Adam Silver doesn't seem to be really having that sense of urgency. So I asked a question, what your favorite era of any sport was. Now, it could be now. Like, baseball now we talked about is pretty freaking interesting with the new rules that have been in place. It has made the game much better. And look, the ratings speak for itself. But I also understand
definitely started to get better.
I also understand if somebody said like the Bash Brothers era was maybe more fun for somebody. So mine that I gave was like the early 2010s NBA or late 2000s NBA into the 2010s,
which broke my heart. because you missed the greatest era of the NBA.
The reason why I said it was because you did not have the every shot's a three-pointer yet, right? The three was more prominent, and you had snipers and you had guys that were specifically on a roster to hit a three, like a Kyle Korver. But you also started seeing guys being able to expand their game a little bit. Also, this was sort of the beginning of the Steph Curry era. But nowadays in the NBA, it's all five guys on the floor can shoot a three, and nobody cares. Like, a coach isn't really freaking out about that. There was a time where, like, specific guys shot threes. It was also really isolation basketball was becoming more prominent, so you saw the art of a guy that could play ISO. Like, Kyrie Irving was art when he first came into the NBA. Defense still mattered during the season, not just, all right, it's playoff time, we're going to start playing defense now. Load management wasn't really a big thing in the late 2000s and early 2010s. You start getting it then with Pop and the San Antonio Spurs, but it wasn't a league-wide thing. And tanking wasn't tanking at that point.
Correct.
So that was like my favorite era of basketball. Now, I wonder from people to text in or YouTube in, and of course I want John and Connor to chime in also, what your favorite era of any sport was. Not all four sports at once, just this specific era of sport was your favorite. And it's not Philadelphia related because the Sixers sucked back then. The late 2000s, early 2012s, or 2010s, except for that series with Boston. That went 7.
And I think it's the hardest, to me, it's the hardest topic to think of. Because I thought it bothered me all day yesterday.
Oh, this one's easy for me.
Okay, what is it?
Easy. All right, guys.
Easy. The late aughts, early 2010s NFL. Slinging the football all over the field. Guys like Manning, Brady, Breeze, Rivers, Roethlisberger. You still had late career McNabb in there. But not only did you have like the air raid offense started to develop that I loved, you could still take a guy's head off, which I understand is bad for the players. But I'm not going to pretend like I didn't love watching.
Yeah, like you got jacked up was a segment that everybody watched. As horrible as it is, because we now know more information. But at the time, you're a creature of what's going on at the time. And at the time, you were like, oh my God, this segment's about to play.
I think the Roman Coliseum was barbaric, but I'm watching every gladiator movie they ever make. Right? I'm not rooting for it for the people, but I'm not going to pretend like that wasn't awesome to watch.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of great wide receivers. I mean, not that there's not great wide receivers now, but to your point, it was like the explosion of the air attack.
And I think I couldn't bring it to. I told Andrew when he said NBA, I told him, I said, God, I wish both of you had gotten to see the 80s, 90s, late 80s, 90s NBA.
Yeah, that was probably sick.
Bird Magic into Jordan. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, it was incredible. And it was because, as I can remember, the NBA wasn't important enough as a league to have its games on in prime time in the NBA Finals.
Which is nuts.
Until Magic and Bird made the league. And that's what drives me nuts about today's stars in the NBA. They don't respect the game enough to even show up and play back-to-back nights. And those guys on their backs built that league just 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Oh, by the way, like All-Star Weekend festivities.
They played. They were part of it. They were in the dunk contest. They were in the three-point contest. These guys
you mean you're not excited for Jackson Hayes, Kashad Johnson, Jace Richardson?
The NBA players today are more worried about, and Shaq will tell you.
They couldn't get McClung out of the G League again this year?
They're more worried about going to the clubs. They're more worried about the parties at All-Star Weekend. They're more worried about the club scene. They're more worried about doing all that. That's what it is. They don't sell their game. They don't sell their own sport. And it was just 25, 30 years ago that the NBA was so irrelevant that it wasn't even on primetime television in the NBA Finals. And guys built the league, and then these new guys today, they just want to reap the benefits and then don't want to do what's good to keep it up. And they're seeing the decline.
Yeah.
They're seeing it, and they don't get it. I would say the 2000s to 2010, that era, but with me, it's the Andy Reid. It's just that the whole league, but the Eagles were now part of the elite. And it was the first time in my life that I saw my NFL team be part of the elite.
That helps.
So to me, that helped.
Right.
That's what it was for me. But I found that the hardest question. I was baffled by it all day.
And it's interesting because, like, my answer for NBA, some might hate because that was also the beginning of the super team. That was
right.
Like the early 2010s was, I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
Right.
And it was LeBron and Wade and Chris Bosh, and people hated that. And then that's why, like, the Mavericks were so celebrated because the Mavericks were the ones that were able to slay the dragon and win the NBA championship. But, like, to me, super teams also added more intrigue for the other team because you're like, can my team beat the super team? Like, that was cool for me. Again, this is a very personal.
Right. That's
opinion.
what it is. It's your opinion. It's what you're thinking. It's good.
So it's something that we want to open up for the rest of the show as well. It's 610-632-0975. What is your favorite era of any sport? And I wonder, are there any right now? I don't think anybody could say this era of basketball is the best era of basketball. It's
absolutely not. I mean, it isn't. It's not better than the era you mentioned. It's not better than the era I mentioned.
I don't know if anybody can say it's no. Some people might be able to say baseball. Maybe. But there's preferences to small ball, which you don't get. I still love I've told you guys this story before. When I was in Clearwater last year, I did the Q&A with Larry Boa and Jason Worth. Boa said best. Somebody asked him about analytics, right?
Oh.
And he's like, the funny thing is, they use analytics from game 1 to game 162. And as soon as the playoffs start, you see small ball again.
They tend to throw it out.
You see bunts. You see moving guys.
Now the Phillies don't.
Oh no, they did. It just didn't work. Didn't work well.
They don't because they don't know how to execute it.
But it's great because he's right. Like, when it comes to playoffs, you're going back to the quote unquote old school. So I don't know, like early 2000s. Is that a better era?
Think about all our answers, though. They're all nostalgic. It's very hard to talk about a current era as the best era because nostalgia plays such a big part, right? Like,
No, but here's the deal. Like football, I wouldn't say football now because I hate quarterback play right now. I think it's despicable. Like what I see in the NFL sometimes.
When Brady Manning, that Brady Manning era that you were talking about, the Brady Manning, all that and everything, I could see someone during that era going, I'm living it.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
that's
seeing
necessarily
it.
nostalgia.
Whereas I can tell you during the Showtime Lakers Celtics coast to coast, those finals, and then the bad boys come along leading into Jordan and the Bulls, I knew I was living the best era of NBA basketball. And even though it was current, I said, okay, this is absolutely the best.
Look, you look at football, you could look at it two ways. Oh my God, Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl. Or, wow, that means anybody can win a Super Bowl. It depends on how you view things, right?
that's totally fair points by you guys.
So I would love for people to chime in on this. 610-632-0975. Any sport, the best era of any sport that comes to your mind, let us know. Coming up next week, today's headlines with Connor Thomas. Don't forget, it's an Adam Schefter Wednesday. Shefty joins us coming up at 8:05 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, you want to know why betting the winter games on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge makes sense? Well, they got it all. That's why. Even if you're not even a big fan of some of these events, you can bet on it. From game lines to medal counts to finding your angle on the events you care about most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. The winter games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with a bet on FanDuel. Curling matches, they start slow, but they get really exciting. And of course, you got figure skating, you got speed skating, you got the skiing downhill, which like John and I both were talking about earlier. Like it's
unreal.
It's like scary how fast they go down there, and I just know that I would break probably every single bone in my body. Or you could just bet on medals for your country. Lithuania still currently at 0. FanDuel, whatever you want to do, they got it. Play your game. You got to be 21 plus. President of Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
No hot takes, no rage bait.
trust this Washington College guy to produce. Charity comes in many forms. Kincade Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
All right. Give us a couple texts, Connor. Then I have to ask, does it count? And then we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. The latest topic that we just opened up, our main topic today has been about the Phillies. What should, not but what should the attitude be of Phillies fans heading into the 2026 season? But we also just talked about what the greatest era for whatever sport you want to talk about is or was, because it could be right now or it could be in the past. And this was coming off of us talking about the NBA yesterday, where nobody can tell you today's era of the NBA is the best. It's horrific right now what's going on in the NBA. What do we got on the text line?
All right, so this texter says, I think 90s into early 2000s baseball. So many individual stars to love and record chasing being followed. I think there's a name for that stretch.
Yeah, it's called the steroid era when everybody was cheating.
You could.
Hell yeah, though.
But it was fun to watch. It was great.
Yeah.
But here's where all the baseball guys that are now keeping a lot of the same guys who are the writers, the moral compass of baseball.
Yeah.
Who are keeping people out of the Hall of Fame for steroid use are the same people who waxed poetic about the Bonds, Sosa,
and how they saved
McGuire.
baseball.
And they ignored what they damn well knew was going on. And I can tell you, as somebody who was in the media at the time, they damn well knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And they willfully ignored it.
Because it saved baseball.
And now they try to be they are now the social justice warrior of we need to keep these cheaters out. When it was making them money and getting them clicks and getting them business, they didn't care one bit.
All right, what else we got?
All right, we also have a check-in. This isn't a sport, but I found this interesting. Matt in Knoxville says, hands down, 90s Sports Center was my favorite era of sports. Just all-encompassing. It was must-watch.
Yeah, 90s.
Stuart Scott, The Big Show with Patrick and Olbermann before Olbermann lost his mind.
Yeah. 90s into early 2000s, because it
was amazing.
That was me watching it before school, and it was great. All right, does it count? I told you during
this should be like a thing you put together because you keep finding these.
During my FanDuel read, I told you that Lithuania does not have a medal yet. However, they are competing in ice dancing today, figure skating, and they're competing for gold.
Okay.
So the male skater, Solus Ambrulevichus, his partner, Allison Reed.
Come on now.
What?
Come on now.
Allison Reed.
Allison Reed of Warren Township, New Jersey.
What? Wait a minute. How do you not know this person?
Skated professionally for the country of Georgia, then Israel, and now Lithuania. She must have signed an NIL deal in the transfer portal.
You get half a medal.
She became a citizen of Lithuania in 2024. Does that count? Like,
No.
if they win today, I don't,
You get half a gold
No,
medal.
it doesn't count. It doesn't count.
I didn't know you could hit the transfer portal in the Olympics. I didn't know you
That's
could do
incredible.
that. All right,
I think this is crazy. It's like the World Baseball Classic.
go Lithuania, baby. Yeah, Aaron Nola.
Aaron Nola.
Big Italian.
Yeah,
All right,
really.
Time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
And it's brought to us by the Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Speaking of injured people, we'll get to the injury in a second, but this is the time of year where people start to take a look at the promotional schedule for teams around Major League Baseball. You get to see all the cool giveaways. Have you guys seen what the Rangers are doing for a giveaway?
No, I have not.
They're giving away a Nolan Ryan replica jersey, but not just any Nolan Ryan replica jersey. The bloodstained Nolan
really?
Ryan replica jersey.
No,
Really?
way.
With the stains and everything from when he was hit in the face by a Bo Jackson line drive back in 1990. Ended up finishing his start,
Was
winning
it
the
that
game.
or I thought he got in a fight and he was bleeding.
No, that was from the line drive.
That was
Yeah.
for the but no, he beat the crap
Yeah,
out
right,
of
right, I forget.
Robin Ventura.
Yeah, that was for something else.
He took Robin Ventura in the
Yeah, just
headlock
beating the crap
and just
out of
punched him because
So
he's country
is that
strong.
for all kids or is that a 15 and older?
I believe it's older. I believe it's an adult giveaway.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's awesome because
Is that is an adult giveaway?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
because some of the coolest giveaways for the Phillies are for kids. And I get it. It's
I don't
awesome.
think they're doing bloodstained jersey giveaway for the tots.
Well, you're teaching about the history of the organization.
Wait a minute, that's fantastic. That is a fantastic next level.
High-level stuff out of the Rangers.
All right.
That's bravo.
If they haven't done it before. Now, again, I know that people don't vote for him because of political reasons, but did the Red Sox ever do
Bloody sock?
a bloody sock day?
Getting socks, though.
Dude, anytime the Phillies do sock giveaways, I love them, man. I wore them at my
You're
wedding.
so old.
I wore a pair of Philly socks that I got at a Phillies game to my wedding. It was the 1980, the maroon P.
I'll do some research on if they ever did that. But you can get your Nolan Ryan replica bloody
That's actually
jerseys
cool.
down
I
in
love
Texas
that.
this year.
That's a great idea.
Now, is this cool? Because the NFL might have an idea. We'll see if you guys think it's great. Adam Schefter was talking on the Pat McAfee show about a potential change that could be coming in the NFL when it comes to allowable draft picks to trade.
There's going to be a push by at least one team this offseason to extend the NFL trade limits from 3 years of picks to 5 years of picks.
How do we feel about it?
No. Do not become the NBA. Do not become a clown show. Do not become where you're trading guys 5 years down the line because you have a desperate GM. You have the best sport in the game, the most competitive sport in the game. Do not allow it.
Yeah,
3 years is fine.
That's the thing, because trades happen. Like, it's not like trades aren't happening and they're like, all right, we need to find a way to create more buzz. Even Shefty himself, was it last week when he joined us, said he's expecting more trades this offseason.
This year because of the cap going up.
Cap going up, and the free agent class isn't that great. The NFL trade deadline, that used to not exist. Like, nobody talked about it. Now all of a sudden it's like, wow, the NFL trade deadline, what teams could make what moves.
He thought trades may be more interesting, and I asked him last week, trades may be more interesting than free agency this year.
So I just don't think you need to do it.
Don't do it.
I agree with
the
you.
NBA letting you trade 5 years out is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, if only we had Adam Schefter joining us soon so we could
Oh,
talk
that's a
to
good
him about
idea.
it. He's coming up next.
And the NBA goes longer than that, right? Do they go longer than 5 years?
Well, because you can't do back-to-back.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they let
extend
you
out
go
further.
longer than that,
Sure,
which is
yeah.
crazy.
We'll round out with this before we get to Adam Schefter next segment. Do you guys have an extra $100,000 lying around?
I don't have an extra, but you can sell me on it. Shark Tank me.
Well, you could have been the proud new owner of Kurt Signetti's headset from the National Championship game, which
Okay.
went to auction and ended up becoming, unshockingly, the most expensive headset ever auctioned. $112,500, the price on that. And this is one of those memorabilia pieces. Sometimes I get it. Sometimes I'm like, why would you ever want to, what do you do? Do you wear it when you sit at home and watch your Indiana games?
Yeah, I'm not a big memorabilia guy. I never have been.
$100,000.
Like,
I'm out. I'm out.
I think it's cool. Like, my dad, I loved Jeff Jenkins. And so the double that he hit, the pinch hit double,
Okay.
my dad got me a signed photo of it. And so, that was cool.
Oh, nice.
But,
All right, that's nice.
I don't,
Where is it?
in a box somewhere. It was in my room when I was a kid, but I'm a 32-year-old male right
Okay,
now.
you can't have a picture of Jeff Jenkins up in the house?
I could put it in the basement somewhere. That's
You have
right.
a nice basement
It's
now.
on the ceiling right above his bed so he can look at it.
Yeah. No, I'm just not a big memorabilia guy. I don't know.
I like a signed ball. Anything outside of that, I'm good.
The two things I have the most pride in having is my Game 308 World Series ticket. My dad and I, kept the ticket because that was back when you still had paper stubs. And then when I went and saw the Lorenzen no-hitter, my buddy that took us that day actually got the email of, would you like the replica ticket? Which is ridiculous. So you have to buy a replica ticket
Which is
nowadays.
crazy.
But he bought me and my buddy
Okay.
Jack, which was, that's a cool thing that I have.
I
Yeah,
have
it is.
one autograph thing, and Cole Hamels autographed a World Series MVP. He signed a World Series MVP. I have a used baseball from the 2008 World Series, and Cole signed it.
That's awesome.
Cole signed it.
Yeah,
that's it.
that's a really cool.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, coming up next, Adam Schefter will join us. You just heard the report of his in today's headlines. Could they expand draft picks to 5 years in trades? All the latest news surrounding the Eagles. Remember, last week after we talked to him was when the Jeff Stoutland news came out. So, has he heard more? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
When something doesn't feel right, go to the doctor and listen to your doctor. But if you get a cancer diagnosis, listen to my doctor. Dr. John Sprandio Jr. was my quarterback of my cancer care, and I'm here today, 2 years later, because of the consultants in medical oncology and hematology. CMOH is how I'll refer to them for you. The consultants in medical oncology and hematology are the best. They're an independent practice, so they can work with medical systems all over the Delaware Valley area. They've got 3 great locations. At every one of them, you're going to find free parking, easy access, so you're not dealing with elevators and garages. Walk in, main level, get your care, and that's very, very important when you're a cancer patient, I can tell you. But what's most important, they've got a great staff. I mean, the staff that is the backbone behind these great doctors, the nurses are amazing. The staff that creates all your appointments for you are great. They give you quick consults, clear communication, most importantly, an individualized plan that's just for you. You're going to know what to expect. They will hold your hand through the process, and they'll prop you up when you need them most. The consultants in medical oncology and hematology, trust me, I survived because of them. CMOH.org.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Baseball back in Florida. I'm Connor Thomas, and pitchers and catchers are reporting to Clearwater today for the Phillies, officially marking the start of spring training. And with that, Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski recently met with the media, talked about, what went on with the offseason, what their evaluation was, and also Dave Dombrowski talked about what's the plan for Nick Castellanos, who the organization has been attempting to move on from.
Well, we continue to talk to clubs about that, and that's our focus prior to the start of spring training. So that's something that we'll continue to work on this week.
Is that something that you hope to have resolved this week?
Hopefully, yes.
So keep your eye on that for any big breaking news on the Nick Castellanos front. We'll keep you updated. We still have well over a month till opening day, but we'll keep an eye on all the news coming out from the Phillies down in Clearwater. The Sixers will wrap up their pre-All-Star game schedule with a home game against the New York Knicks tonight. Embiid, Grimes, Barlow, all questionable. That game tips off at 7:30. You can hear it live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And the Eagles made some coaching retentions yesterday, keeping running backs coach Jamal Singleton and wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead. After a down year for the offense, some folks look at that and surprising news. We'll talk to Adam Schefter about it and so much more coming up next. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
I changed my mind.
It is 8 a.m. on this Wednesday morning, which means in 5 minutes' time, the great Adam Schefter will be joining us. Shefty, again, last week, remember, we asked him, what was the more? What was the more? And then, minutes after the show ended, or later that day, not minutes after, later that night was when Jeff Stoutland decided to leave the Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff. And then Shefty quote tweeted the original video that went viral saying, "There's your more." So we get to find out, maybe, has there been more said? That was last week, right? Or was that 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago was the there will be more.
Yeah, and then last week, there's your more. Yeah.
He also gave us there could be even more because there always is with the Eagles.
Right.
So Shefty joins us coming up at 8:05, and we'll find out, what he has heard around league circles with the departure of Jeff Stoutland and kind of what went down with that. All right, what we've been talking about so far this morning, Connor, have the text line ready. We have 2 topics for you where we would love to get your input on. The Phillies, pitchers and catchers, are reporting today. Yesterday, Rob Thompson said that they are better today going into the season than they were last year going into the season, which I disagree with. John disagrees with. Connor it does agree with Rob Thompson, Connor Thompson over there.
Not my name.
So there's a lot of back and forth about this Phillies team. We all agree that they're a good baseball team. They're a good club, and they're going to go to the playoffs. Everybody agrees. But everybody's feelings toward the final destination is a little bit different. So our question is, what should the attitude of fans be going into 2026? From your mind, tell us, 610-632-0975. And also, if you were to pick an era of any sport where you would say that was the best era of that sport, what would it be? Of course, you would have to have lived it, which is why I couldn't say 80s, 90s basketball because I didn't live it the way that you did. I said late 2000s, early 2010s basketball. Connor went with 2010s football. Miguel in Lakewood wants to chime in. What's up, Miguel?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing, man?
Hey, for the best era, got to be the 2010s, late 2000s football. I mean, you had power and quarterbacks with, Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. They dissect the whole defense. And then on defense, you had Polamalu, Ed Reed, Dawkins. It was just a great era. But I got one more thing before I let y'all go. I know it's Schefter coming in. For basketball, I feel like there's no dominance no more. Like back then, you had Durant going to the Golden State, and it's like, wow, man, that's a super team. Now it's so many young guys out here that's all about fashion, sneakers, and
backpacks,
doing their little things, and that's it.
Urkel glasses at their post-game press conferences.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't enjoy basketball anymore how it was before when AI was out there trying to, beat his body just to get 30 points and, be the dominant.
Miguel, there is dominance. The Thunder are dominant, but here's the problem. A lot of people are bored by the style of play that they play. And also, they, too, take nights off and load management and all that kind of stuff. So you can't say, I'm going to lock into a Thunder game tonight, because if you put on the Thunder, there's a chance that three of their starters aren't playing, and that sucks. And we appreciate the call, Miguel. He brings up the 2010s football. I have the top 10 passing leaders, just yards, from the 2011 season, because that was the year that Drew Brees threw for 5,476 yards, which is just ridiculous to throw for that many yards in a season compared to this year. So your top 10 passers, Stafford led the league, and he wins MVP. Goff was second. Prescott was third. May was fourth. Darnold was fifth. Trevor Lawrence was sixth. Caleb Williams was seventh. Bo Nix eighth. Justin Herbert ninth. Baker Mayfield 10th. Compared to these names, to your point, your era, Connor, Breeze, Brady, Stafford, Eli Manning, Rodgers, Rivers, Romo, Matt Ryan, Ben Roethlisberger, and a 22-year-old Cam Newton.
Wow.
You compare the name; it's not even close.
Wow.
I'm telling you, that was the golden days.
That was.
Baby.
It really. I mean, it was a great era of football.
I wonder what Shefty has to say about it. Let's go talk to our man from ESPN.
Let's do that.
The great Adam Schefter joins us, as he does every single Wednesday at this time. Shefty, before we break down all the nuggets and the more that we got last week, one of our questions that we're asking the audience, and you don't have to answer football, is if you were to pick any sport, what was the best era of your lifetime in that sport? Connor talked about the early 2010s football because of the way that the quarterbacks just threw all over the field. Do you have an era where you go, this was the best era of football or of any sport?
Well, again, I view it through two prisms, right? I view it as a fan and I view it as a professional.
Sure.
Not that I'm that professional, but when you're growing up, I view sports in a different way than once I became a sports reporter. And so I think growing up, I was growing up on Long Island at a time when the New York Islanders won 4 straight Stanley Cups in my teenage years. So that comes to mind right away, not to mention the fact that the Yankees won the World Series one of those years. Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs in a game against the Dodgers. And so that just jumps to my mind as a kid. I don't think there's anything better than when your teams win championships as a kid. There's probably some Eagles fans out there that will truly appreciate what that team accomplished last year, in future years even more than they did last year.
I didn't realize you were a fan of the first stolen Stanley Cup from the Flyers in 1980 of the Islanders, from the offside goal. I didn't realize that. I never knew that about you.
I don't remember. I don't remember the offside goal. All I remember is that the Islanders were a dominant team. That was
they were, and they were.
Yeah,
they were good. This year's Super Bowl. Everybody talked about it going in that there wasn't a lot of juice for it and everything like that, and then the two teams squared off. The game really didn't deliver, but the defenses were good, but the game itself, especially after the last 3 or 4 games that we had seen on Super Bowl Sunday, really didn't deliver. But what were your thoughts as just a viewer?
I thought it was a defensive type of football game. I thought New England would play better than it did. I thought Seattle was better than I expected the Seahawks to be. I thought, it lacked some of the drama that other years have had. But, there was a time there, John, to go back to other eras, as you well know, where the Super Bowl was a terrible game for a long period of time. There were blowouts after blowouts. And you didn't expect much on that day. But we've been in a great run of great Super Bowls. And this wasn't one of the better ones. But you know what? Don't tell that to a Seahawks fan because they think it was the greatest game they ever saw.
Absolutely. Shefty, 1 week ago today, I'm trying to find the exact timestamp of when you tagged 97.5 The Fanatic in a tweet.
We appreciated it, though.
February 4th, 7:45 p.m., the tweet by Adam Schefter, "There's your more." And it was after the news came out that Jeff Stoutland decided to exit the Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff. So what were you hearing before the more, and what have you heard since the more about Jeff Stoutland and the Eagles coaching staff?
See, all these people that are on the feeding frenzy in a certain area, they don't know everything that you hear. That's my point. There's a lot of things you hear, and there's a lot of more, always. That's the way the NFL works. That's the way the Eagles have worked. And everybody just assumed that it was Vic Fangio, which I had heard that too. But you also knew with Vic Fangio that the guy vacillated back and forth on this and has for a while. No great surprise there at all. And so I had heard other talk that it wouldn't necessarily just be Vic stepping away. I had heard that. So when I float out that there's more, I meant more. I didn't mean one solitary thing. So when I said there's your more, well, there's a bunch of things that I've been hearing, and they're coming to light later on, as we talked about. Sometimes they come on schedule, sometimes they come a little bit later, but that's sort of how it works. There was this feeding frenzy on Vic Fangio, and not to say that wasn't warranted. We're talking about one of the great defensive coaches in the history of the National Football League, but there were other things that were out there as well.
There seemed to be a change in tone as we finally heard from the previously silent A.J. Brown as he joined a couple of the celebrity football podcasts there on Radio Row. I'm sure you heard people mention his name, either in passing or in distinct conversation. Do you think there is potentially a thawing on the horizon with A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles?
I actually saw A.J. Brown and spent some time with him at the Super Bowl.
That's awesome.
We had some nice conversations. Yeah, we had some nice conversations. I don't know what it's going to mean right now. I think it's too early to say. I would just remind you that at this time last year, Myles Garrett was hell-bent on getting out of Cleveland, and the Dallas Cowboys couldn't wait to sign Micah Parsons to a contract extension. So what happens? Myles Garrett signs a contract extension, and Micah Parsons is traded to Green Bay. So, as we've talked about, as I've tried to say, these things, they're fluid, and they change. And just because A.J. Brown might have wanted to be traded at one point doesn't mean that he's going to be, just because you think it's thawing right now, doesn't mean it will. Don't know how it's going to go yet. It could go a lot of different ways still. But that's the great part of the offseason is there's things that happen that you never would have expected and things that you think are happening, to go back to our previous conversation, that there's usually even more going on behind the scenes than people realize.
I'll take a bidding war, by the way. I'll take an AFC bidding war between Baltimore, Buffalo, and New England. I'll let them all have a knife fight.
Yeah. And because of that, and because it's not a great free agent class and it's not a great draft class, and because there is the history there is, if I had to guess what happens with A.J. Brown, my guess would be more trade than not, but it wouldn't shock me if he stayed either.
So, Shefty, if I was Sean Mannion, I would think my roster or my offense is better with A.J. Brown than without A.J. Brown. So after it gets announced that Sean Mannion's hired to be the OC, is that a quick phone call? Does Sean immediately call A.J. Brown and say, hey, this is what we're going to try to do. Would love to have you a part of it? How do those conversations go when there is clearly a disgruntled player, but there's also a new mind, a new offense coordinator that's definitely respected across league circles?
Yeah, I don't know how that worked. I would just say that my guess is that Sean Mannion probably reached out to the players in his offense. Maybe he didn't. He's a young guy, but my guess is he did. I don't know that, but like in Vegas yesterday, Clint Kubiak takes over, and apparently he had breakfast with Max Crosby, one of the first things. So it's only but he's the head coach. It's only natural to assume that I'm sure Sean Mannion reached out to his new players. Hey, I'm your new OC. Wanted to just say hello. Look forward to trying to work together. Now, whether he and A.J. Brown get to work together, that's an entirely different conversation and topic, and goes beyond what Sean Mannion may want or think. So the Eagles will do what's best for their team. And again, if I had to guess, my guess is they'll explore a trade and figure out something for him. But like I said, it wouldn't shock me at all if they decide to hold on to him.
The more you look at this Sean Mannion hire and the more you hear about him, it certainly seems like a distinct change in offensive philosophy than what we've seen under Nick Sirianni in the past. So would you sort of believe that he really has been tossed the keys here to be able to do his thing? Because this really does look interesting. Everything that I'm reading about the guy, everything I'm hearing about the guy, we're in for a change of offense here in Philly.
Well, listen, I think we talked about this last week, keys to the kingdom, and I thought to you, I think I said I expected that to be the case, and I still expect it to be the case. You're hiring a bright young offensive coordinator. You're not going to hold back on a guy. You're not going to say, no, you can't run what you want to run. I mean, that's why you're hiring him as your offensive coordinator, and that's why you're bringing in Josh Grizzard as a passing game coordinator. So these bright young voices are going to be able to have their say in how the offense is run. I wouldn't expect it to be any different than that.
Love it.
Shefty, going back to Jeff Stoutland, what have you heard since his decision to leave the Philadelphia Eagles? He's a very, very well respected coach in the National Football League. What are some of the things you've heard about Jeff Stoutland leaving Philadelphia?
Well, I just think it was time. He felt it was time, and it wouldn't surprise me if he either returns to coaching or sets up some sort of coaching academy where he could tutor offensive linemen. We see enough of these specialized things go on in this day and age where there are people that work with quarterbacks and tight end U. And I don't know if there's any one offensive line school or anything, but Jeff Stoutland is, beloved by his players and obviously very widely respected and immensely successful. So I think he'll be back involved, but sometimes you got to take some time. What is he, 62, 63 years old?
Yeah, heading towards his mid-60s.
Yeah, he's 60. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that he's done working, but I think he's done working for now.
Hopefully some Eagles offensive linemen aren't done working. Are you hearing any whispers on the retirement front along the Eagles offensive line?
I know those questions have come up. I do expect that Lane Johnson will be back. That I do expect. And I've heard the Landon Dickerson conversation. I don't know how real it is or isn't. But I'd be surprised if Lane Johnson isn't back. I don't know as much about Landon Dickerson.
How early, I guess I'm trying to word this question correctly because the Eagles would like to know as early as possible, but you got to start thinking about the draft, right? It's the league that never sleeps.
Well, free agency.
Yeah, right. We're less than a month away from free agency, legal tampering, and then you have the draft. So, how do those conversations go? Do they call him once a week? Do they wait for Landon to reach out to them? Because I imagine they want to start putting together their big boards.
I'm sure they have an idea, and you put together your board no matter what Landon Dickerson is doing or not, period. Like, you don't let that influence how you put together your big board. You're still doing your work on the free agents. You're still doing your work on the draft. And, hopefully Landon Dickerson gives you an answer sooner rather than later. But there's no rush. He's got to go through his process, figure out what he wants to do. And I know it sounds crazy, but I don't think that impacts how you're planning the draft and free agency. I really don't.
We've seen two dominant defenses win the Super Bowl the last 2 years, two that's absolutely dominant performances in the big game. They always say the NFL's a copycat league. Do you believe we could be seeing a swing back towards teams thinking defense wins championships?
Well, these things are always cyclical, and the fact that defense has been so successful to key Super Bowl victories in recent years, does that mean the teams are going to invest more in their defense? I don't know that people all of a sudden just realize, oh boy, defense wins championships. It's not like that's some sort of new motto. That's always been the case. But it just so happens that defense has played a larger and more significant role in recent years. And so I don't think that's going to change things. Like, teams always have emphasized defense. We've entered into a fantasy era where there's so much emphasis on the offense, but we still are reminded that defense is key in the end, and it has been in recent years.
Shefty, one last question. We appreciate your time as always. Does Jalen Hurts knock on the door of Howie Roseman this offseason?
For a new contract, you're talking?
Yes.
My guess is there will be discussions. I don't know what will come out of that. But, especially if Lamar Jackson does his deal, which I would think at some point gets done, and that would trigger Patrick Mahomes to get a new deal, which I would think would at that point get done. And if Lamar gets done and Mahomes gets done, Jalen Hurts, who's won a Super Bowl more recently than either of those quarterbacks, probably would be well within his rights to say, hey, when do we want to review this? Where are we at? What do you want to do about this?
All right.
Possible, yeah.
And I'm sure we'll be able to further that conversation next week. Adam, we appreciate the time as always. Again, thank you for giving us the There's More
Thanks, Adam.
content for an entire week. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
And there will be more.
You got, and there will be more. Again, if that sets out the news hounds again.
Yes, you're the best, Shefty. All right, we'll talk to you next week.
See you, man.
There's Adam Schefter
Thank you, guys.
joining us from ESPN. I love it. He thinks Lane's back, which a lot of people are saying, but the Landon, that's going to be an interesting storyline to follow, man.
I believe there is fire to it, not just smoke. That doesn't mean that I believe he's retiring, but I believe the story has fire to it, not just smoke.
There's just been a lot of people hinting at that. Like, it's McClain straight up said on his podcast that Landon Dickerson is more of a question than Lane for him at this point.
I think that Landon Dickerson is a very down-to-earth, simple guy. Not simple meaning simple. That I think he's a guy of simple means, simple wants. I don't think he's a guy who is like, man, I'm leaving money on the table. I'm doing this. I think he's going to be about his own well-being, his own mental well-being, health well-being, family well-being. And if he walked away, I think he'd feel content doing it.
And I agree with the Lane thing shouldn't change how you approach the draft and the combine, because at this point you need to figure out what's next. But Landon Dickerson, I disagree with Adam there. That definitely affects how you look at the draft. If he steps away, you gotta go heavy O-line.
Or they're trading.
They're going to get a veteran. They're going to get a veteran in here.
Then it affects the draft by picks you might have to move if you want to trade.
Sure. Absolutely. I agree with you, Connor. All right, coming up next on a day where the vibes of pitchers and catchers reporting are kind of all over the place, the next segment will be about the positives, or at least what people are saying are the positives. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fan.
I'm so happy I got a Bradford White water heater. What about you? Oh, you don't have one? Well, I understand. Look, you can go get one. Now, you don't go get one at a big box store. Go to your computer, go to your phone, go to BradfordWhite.com, put your information in, find your zip code, find a local plumbing professional near you, and they can bring a Bradford White model right to your home. Because Bradford White water heaters are super reliable, and they're built to be the best with top performance year after year with the finest components from around the world. Now, look, your current water heater isn't getting the job done, is it? You're getting hot water, then you're getting cold water, or it doesn't last. You want your family to stay comfortable and content with all the hot water that they need. You want to be able to run your laundry. You want to be able to run the dishwasher. You want to be able to take all the hot showers that you need in your house. Look, you need a Bradford White. Ask your plumbing professional. They know all about them, including their new Infinity tankless and Aerotherm hybrid heat pump models that are fantastic too. Visit BradfordWhite.com. Get lined up today. They'll bring the perfect model for you to your home. They'll install it for peak efficiency, and then you will know what I already know. How you heat your water, it does matter. Choose my friends. It's Bradford White.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies are back. Kinda. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Uber Eats. You hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at La Scala's. From now until March 31st, get a buy one, get one free deal on Rigatoni vodka on the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. Well, they're not officially playing real baseball again, but pitchers and catchers are reported in Clearwater today for the Phillies, marking the start of spring training. And with that, Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski recently met with the media. Thompson talking about how he likes where the team's at right now compared to this point last year.
I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it this year than I was last year because I think we're better this year on this day this year than we were on the same day a year ago.
Now, we still have well over a month until opening day for the Phils back up here in Philadelphia, but we'll keep you updated on all the news out of Clearwater. The Sixers will wrap up their pre-All-Star game schedule with a home game against the New York Knicks tonight. Embiid, Grimes, and Barlow are all questionable. That game tips off at 7:30. You can hear it live right here on the Fanatic. And the Eagles, well, they're running back some coaches, including their running backs coach, Jamal Singleton, wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead, who are being retained by the organization. Bit of a surprise move to some, considering the quality of offense last year, but that's the Eagles' choice. We'll talk to Tim Kelly coming up at 9:05 for his breakdown of what you need to know ahead of pitchers and catchers reporting. This update's also brought to you by AAA Tire and Auto Service. Get a full synthetic oil change for just $74.99 plus earn $7 towards your next service with Duramax dollars at AAA Tire and Auto Service. Offer ends February 28th. See store for details. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
If you agree or disagree with one of our
Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Well, you just heard the voice of Johnny Marks, who we played earlier today. Around 6:30 this morning, we played it. Maybe Johnny Marks will come in studio when he gets here for his program later, because he was calling us the negative Nancy's in the morning about this Phillies team.
And then he repeated every talking point that we made and agreed with us on every single talking point.
So it really just
was really interesting.
really just came down to who's more excited for opening day. It's not
it's
about he agreed with everything.
He agreed with every talking point that he made. Is exactly what we say every single morning. So there was not one discussion point that John makes do we disagree with, or have we ever disagreed with?
Play it. This was Johnny Marks yesterday. Shout out to Brandon Dutz, who was he was doing the YouTube yesterday, and he was like, they brought up Kincade
Dutzy's
Salciunas,
stirring the pot,
and he shot me the email, and this was what Johnny Marks had to say minutes after we got off the air yesterday.
Oh,
When he got on a little bit of a roll there, I started feeling it. I started feeling a little bit, Rob, because despite what the negative Nancy's saying in the morning with Kincade and Salciunas on 97.5 The Fanatic, I am excited for this Phillies season. I've gotten there. And what he said about the bullpen. Last year at this time, Duran was not in the fold. And they had signed Jordan Romano. And we were talking about, Romano did this and he did that, and he was brutal. So if you look at this, and you look at the bullpen right now, and I know Keller's going to pitch in the World Baseball Classic, and that's a little bit concerning. They have a deep bullpen. I'll say I'll put the lineup equal to what it was last year. Your right fielder may be better, may not be better. Defensively, he's certainly better. And I don't know what Crawford's going to give you. He's going to be better than Rojas, right? Or he couldn't be any worse than Rojas, I suppose. He's a better hitter. He's got a better idea of what he's doing at the plate. Rojas never hit 330 at AAA. So I'm excited to see what Crawford does. Brandon Marsh is Brandon Marsh, and they're not as deep as I would like them to be in the outfield. You know, their rotation really worries me because without Wheeler in there, they're really, really light. Their rotation right now, to me, is the biggest question mark going into the season. And that's why I would disagree with what Thompson's saying about, we're better off this year than we were last year. They could be. I don't think it's that far off, but losing Ranger and not having Wheeler is a major thing.
Almost sound like it was what we...
Yeah, it was... I'm glad to see. Look, it's exactly what we've been saying on Kincade and Salciunas.
Was that auto-tuned? Was that actually our voices?
That's great.
But it just made it sound like Johnny Marks?
That's great. It's exactly what we've been saying. John Marks just repeated, and somehow that is really interesting.
But I'm excited for opening day. Like, I think that's what gets lost because somebody listening to the show, what do you mean? You're not excited. I am.
No, we are excited.
I can't wait. Like, the fact that we're talking to Tim Kelly today at 9:05, Tim just posted a photo of him at Baycare Ballpark. Right. And I'm freaking jealous. It's not just because of the Florida thing. It's because he's going to be able to watch baseball.
Even though that is a big part.
That is a big part of it. He's going to watch baseball in person, right? Like, I can't wait for baseball to come back. It's just, I know what's going to happen this season. The team will be good. They will win games. They will make the playoffs. I am guaranteeing all those things. It's just going to come down to, do they actually break through what has plagued them the last 3 years, which has been getting tight, bad approaches at the plate, poor decisions made by the manager, and everybody's back except for 26% of the roster, or whatever number Rob Thompson gave.
And everything that caused them to collapse in 22 when they had the 2-1 lead in the World Series, everything that caused them to get collapsed in 23 when they had a 3-2 lead in 2 home games against a really bad Arizona team, those things have never been corrected in 24 and 25. So if you're doubting, it's because you understand baseball and you understand what your eyes have seen for the last 2 years. You're not a negative Nancy. You're an informed baseball fan.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you are saying, wake me up in October. You're still a fan. Doesn't make you a better fan. Just means that maybe you don't watch baseball with pom-poms on.
Like, I can't wait for Zach Wheeler's first start. I would like to go to that game and be there in attendance for the return of Zach Wheeler. Like, there's a lot of things that I'm really excited about. It's just this team, because of what we have gone through the last couple of years, it's all about one thing at this point, and it's can they break through and get to a World Series and win. And, they set themselves up for that. Now, Booney, who is the producer of Unfiltered from the TV side of things. So when you watch the show on NBC Sports Philadelphia, Booney's, running the control board back there and putting up all the graphics and everything. He wrote an article for NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. 5 things that will excite Phillies fans in spring training. So not the 2026 Phillies, spring training. Number 1, the beginning of the encore from Christopher Sanchez. I'm excited about that, but I don't know how much we're going to see of him because he's pitching in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, they have 15 guys, by the way, the organization in the World Baseball Classic.
That's a lot.
15
How many
guys?
Major League, because like Stubbs is on there. Like how many how many Major League?
So one of them's Dante Nori, who's playing for Italy. He's not a major leaguer. Garrett Stubbs could be the backup to JT, but he's not a lock to make the team.
I think it's Marchand. I think Marchand. They like him more.
It's Marchand.
I want to say there's like one other guy who's
like I know
pitching somewhere.
I know Rojas isn't, but I don't consider him a major leaguer for the Phillies. He'll be a part of the team throughout the year. Obviously, he'll be up and down. But so what? Maybe like 9 of the everyday roster.
Seems like a safe spot.
That sounds like a safe spot. Yeah.
So that was one. Aiden Miller's hitting prowess. I want to see him play. Like I'm not.
Of course we do.
I've seen highlights. There are people that lie to and act like they can break down Aiden, like they've never actually watched him, unless you live in the Reading area and you made the trip. I'm excited to see that. Justin Crawford's speed specifically. Sure, I'm excited to see that.
Okay.
Putting the ball on the ground and beating out throws. I'm excited about that. Andrew Painter's arsenal. I'm excited about that.
When I hear Ricky talk about it, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Curveball, 4-seamer, changeup, cutter, slider. I'm in on that.
Okay.
And the last one, we talked about it earlier. The Bryce Harper Revenge Tour. I am expecting it.
The Revenge Tour. What's the Revenge Tour for what?
His president of baseball operations saying he's not elite.
No, I'm not. Forget that. I'm sorry. I'm saying him specifically. Like, I want to see Bryce Harper be Bryce Harper again. Like somewhat. I'm not expecting him to be MVP Bryce Harper, but I want to see Bryce Harper. Pitchers fear Bryce Harper. They don't want to make a mistake to Bryce Harper. There were a lot of mistake pitches last year that ended up being ground balls to second baseman. Right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
I want to see that return of Bryce Harper.
I want power.
We don't know about the risk. We don't know what played a factor. There's no factors this year. There's no, hey, remember he was dealing with that or he's dealing with this. Like, he's going into this season by all accounts healthy.
Yeah, fix the blood, cut down on the milk. we're good to go, baby.
Yeah, understand that you're not supposed to drink raw milk and do that. That'd be great.
He had such a weird offseason.
Just unbelievable. And more importantly, though, the Revenge Tour, yes. If Bryce Harper is offended being compared to Freddie Freeman, I'm offended that he's compared to Freddie Freeman. Because Freddie Freeman is a guy who is as clutch as it comes for his team in October, leading his team to the World Championship parades. I'm offended by that. If we're going to have some contrived thing, and I haven't seen it out of Bryce Harper yet except that one stupid T-shirt, if I see it, I'm going to be offended by that.
I mean, I want him to contrive stuff. I'm fine with that. Whatever motivates you. Listen, how many times have we seen videos from opposing stadiums where everyone's screaming overrated the guy and he nukes one, 450?
But it's been a while.
Yeah, but if that pisses him off and he plays better because of it, whatever you need, Bryce.
Yeah, I don't even think
if you need to create something false in your head to motivate you, I would think that big contract would motivate you.
Michael Jordan did do that.
I mean,
Michael Jordan said that.
Did we just compare Michael Jordan to Bryce
Harper?
Harper?
But you're saying making up things. Like, no, I'm just saying people have done that.
The greatest,
new.
Arguably the greatest individual winner of all time. I don't want him compared to Bryce Harper.
That's not the point
I'm making. Michael Jordan said that guy looked at me weird, so I'm going to play hard.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's Michael Jordan. This is Bryce Harper. He's finding a reason for a slight.
Yeah,
and
that's fine. And if it works, it works.
And he's not a slight. But Freddie Freeman? Freddie Freeman slighted. Hearing that comparison.
You're real caught up on this Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, no, I think it was more.
Because that's what the president of baseball operations compared him to Freddie Freeman. And somehow it's going to be spun that Dave Dombrowski did something.
Yeah, I think it was more the not elite thing because he wore a sweatshirt that literally said not elite on it.
Like, yeah, but that was in response to him being compared to Freddie Freeman, which is so embarrassing that it would even be something you would answer. You should be very proud to be compared to Freddie Freeman. You should just have let that one pass, especially after your 2025 campaign. You should have let that one pass instead of being worried. Oh, I'm gonna use this as motivation. Okay, we'll see.
Good for him, man.
We'll see.
Find whatever motivation you need. What do we got in the text
Fanatic
line?
socks.
All right, so John C. in Tennessee checks in, says, I have the recent standard Philly attitude towards the Phillies. Got to have a decent year and get ticked off and disappointed in the postseason if we make it. Fool me once, shame on you. This will probably now be the 4th time.
See, I think they're going to make it. I saw somebody on our YouTube chat say that they're a 500 baseball.
I don't think they're
I
a
don't
lot.
see that.
When you guys said, I don't think they are. Like I hesitated on when I said 90 wins, locked to make the postseason. I think that it's going to be more scary this year than previous years.
I still
because I
think
do believe the Mets and the Braves are better.
Yeah. By the way, big news for the Braves yesterday. Schwellenbach, who's
Which
one of
is
their
not
better
good.
arms, he's going on the 60-day
60-day.
IL. They've already announced.
And
then,
you know that could end up being more.
Yeah, you never know. And then the Mets, Francisco Lindor might be getting surgery. Now, again, the reports are that he could.
Opening day.
Or is expected to be back opening day. But
No,
you know,
he's expected to be the procedure that if he has the procedure, he would be back opening
right,
day.
but
He's still not great
But
to
what
be.
I'm saying is
His power could be affected.
well, and
is what people say.
he doesn't have spring training. Like he's not facing 18-year-olds. Like he's going to the big leagues.
If that happened to Schwarber, Turner, Harper, we're sitting here today like, uh-oh.
Like what are they going to be like the first month of the season? And
we're not liking it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. So pretty big news for other. The odds actually changed. I actually meant to bring that up to you guys earlier. With the news, remember yesterday we told you that the Phillies had the third best odds for the NL East, and were pretty low actually on the World Series odds. They climbed up to fifth for World Series. The Mets are still ahead of them. And then for the division, the Phillies are second behind the Mets. Mets plus 145.
The
Phillies plus
Schwellenbach
200.
thing really hurt him.
Yeah,
Those Braves injuries, man, I don't know what they did. But
I'm telling you.
All right, coming up next, Connor and I agree the Eagles are still the champs.
What?
When it comes to viewership, that is. Numbers from Super Bowl 60 came out. We're not all that surprised. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Saturday, you better be a fan of Valentine's Day. And Benari Jewelers is a fan of yours. They're going to make sure that you pick up a perfect gift. And it doesn't have to be an engagement ring, but if you wanted a last-minute engagement ring, they're going to take great care of you. Their crew at Exeter Newtown Square is going to make sure that you find a fantastic diamond to put on a fantastic ring, that you can make sure that she is going to have the unforgettable moment of a lifetime. But let's say you're looking for something else. You want some diamond or gemstone earrings. You want some pendant necklaces, elegant bracelets, whatever it is, everything they've got designed to be treasured for a lifetime. Benari Jewelers in Exeter Newtown Square has got you covered for the big day on Saturday. You could even think about him this year. Yep, exceptional timepieces, ladies, crafted with precision. I got one for my birthday this year, and I rarely ever take it off. It's awesome. You're going to love any gift from Benari Jewelers. Exton and Newtown Square, an amazing, amazing team waiting to serve you. Go to BenariJewelers.com. Benari Jewelers, tell them that John Kincade was the one that sent you in, please.
The Super Bowl is The Fanatic.
8:47 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Tim Kelly is going to be joining us coming up at 9:05, covering the Phillies for On Pattison. We always love having Tim on. He is in Clearwater. He just put out a tweet. For whatever it's worth, Aiden Miller's spring training locker is between, to his left, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, to his right, JT, and Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, that's a smart place to put the kid.
How about that? You put the rising star prospect in the middle of your four most, I guess, proven important players on the team.
Macho Row.
How about that? Love it. All right. He joins us coming up at 9:05. I just checked our YouTube chat.
Okay.
And I'm curious. I want to have a serious conversation about this. We're not going to make any jokes. We'll try not to. Money Mar just puts out there, and who knows what Nola you're going to get. Now, I didn't scan far enough back to see if he was saying that from like a positive or a
So
negative.
Mar is a smart man.
What are your
He's a 6 ERA guy. I mean, like what?
Yeah, and I don't expect that again.
Okay, what do you expect? 5?
Well, no, but like
low 4s. Like
You expect him to go from 6 to 4?
Isn't good.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, it's still not
I expect
good.
him to go from 6 to 4. What do you think? Aaron Nola's just the guy he was last year forever now?
Remember our bet is 4.25.
Oh yeah, I forgot you guys did that.
We have a bet of 4.25. I said he will not get a 4.25 or lower ERA. You have a 4.25. You said he's 4.25 or lower. That's our bet that we made.
Can he find? So in 2020,
I don't know
last year was a disaster, right? He's like the Eagles. He's the every other year guy.
Yeah, he's the OG of that.
So 2021.
Okay.
No, sorry, I'll start with 2020. 2020, 3.28 ERA. Then 21 was 4.63. Then down to 3.25. Then 4.46. Then 3.57. Last year 6.01, which is horrible. Can he?
So what are those
Get
ERAs?
back to the
seriously,
threes or the
Rick, what are those
fours?
ERAs?
Well, the three.
What are the 4s?
The 3.2s, 3.3s are good.
What are the 4s?
4.63, 4.46.
When was 4.63?
That was 2021.
Okay, and what was the other 4?
2023
Was what?
4.6.
Yeah.
But 3.57 was 2024.
That was the outlier.
No, it's every other year. He's the Eagles.
He's not a. I mean, he's on. Look, the trend is going in a different direction for Aaron Nola's career. Is it not?
No, it's not.
No, if the pattern continues, then he's back into the threes this year.
His when his bad is bad. His odd year, like last year, his 6.01. Okay,
Yeah, but this is an even
his last odd year was 4.46. His last odd year was 4.63. His last odd year was 3.87.
But this is an
he's
even
on, he's on a trend of his career trend.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is career trend is going really bad.
No, hang on. He's not getting better, right? He is an aging pitcher. He's on the backside of his career.
Which they just gave that long-term contract to.
Yes, and we don't like that. But he's not getting like 6 ERA worse, right?
But his even years are not even better.
They're 3 ERA years.
But his even years are still even 2.37 to 3.28, 3.28 to 3.25, 3.25 to 3.57.
Would you take a 3-something? I would take a 3-something.
Oh, I'd be thrilled.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd be thrilled, but I don't know that I'm.
Could he do it? Is all I'm asking.
I made the bet that I don't believe he is.
I'm not expecting anything in the 3s, but I am expecting low 4s. And that's a 4 or 5 pitcher in this rotation. That's all you need in the
Which
day.
isn't good because of the contract.
Well, yes, and the contract's bad.
Yeah.
Terrible contract, and none of us none of us were clamoring and saying, "Wow, that contract is great." What I worry about is that he has been Meatball City, and that's the problem for me. Is he's become the king of the meatball?
Yeah,
and that's a bad trend with any pitcher. 30 now in 25. He gave up 18, but he gave up 18 in
17 games.
In 17 games. He gave up 30 the year before that. He gave up 32 the year before that. He has become a meatball pitcher that is not fooling people.
Yeah, you don't want that
late in his career.
Who was that?
That doesn't do well for your ERA.
Yeah, I also have made the argument before that he's optically not a great pitcher for the modern game because he doesn't throw that hard and he does give up the home run. But even in years where he's given up a lot of home runs, he's put up good numbers. So he's kind of a weird circumstance.
You just hope he has a bounce back year, right? Like that's what I'm hoping for. Like a couple.
Well,
of years.
bounce back year to me for him is going to be 4.4. 4.5. To go from a 6 to a 4.5 is a huge improvement.
Of course, you would take that.
No, but it would be a huge improvement for a back end of the bullpen, for a back end of the rotation guy, which he is now.
So the year he threw 32 home runs, he was not the league leader.
Which is incredible.
You remember the league leader was Lance Lynn that year. He gave up 44 home runs that year. But then in 2024, the next year, which was his final season, in 23 starts, he put together a 3.84 ERA for the Cardinals. And you go, wow, after what he had just done the previous year.
Okay, but for Nola, it was 23-32. He gave up 32. 24, he gave up 30. And last year, he was well on pace to give up 30. If he had pitched, he was well on pace to give up in the 30s again. This is more than a trend.
Yeah, but
this is who he is.
In that 24 year where he gave up 30, he was pretty darn solid. It's just, that's what I'm saying. The home runs optically will always crush him, and it's annoying, but he could still have a good year even with that issue.
Yeah, the one thing is the strikeouts, is the amount of pitches. Is can they get more innings out of him as a back end of the rotation guy? Can they get more innings out of him? Can he be more efficient? Because he started to, the efficiency is something that they need out of him. And he's still, even in his bad years, he's been efficient. 199, 193, with those home runs, 200 innings. That's critically important to this team this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something that I will always admire him for, is last year. And I think he got shut down last year.
Yeah, I did too. It was so bad that
I think they were shutting him down, saying, let's see if we can get him. We signed him to a long-term deal. Let's see if we can get him.
And then he shocked the world and pitched pretty well in his 3 innings against the Dodgers. Remember, we were all saying you can't start Nola, and then he actually pitched well in those 3 innings.
Let's give him some time, and hopefully he does have a bounce. I think bounce back for him, though, is going to be 4.5. 4.4, 4.5.
Stank You Up chimes in 5-10 with a 6.0 ERA.
Oh.
Neil chimes in with just one of those dumb comments on our YouTube chat.
What's up, Neil?
Hoping for a low 4 ERA. He said 4.15. That was a joke, by the way.
Well, that would give Connor a win. Connor gets the win. I wear the propeller hat. If that happens.
I want to see you wear it. Like I'm the only guy that's worn it on this damn show. I need you.
Well, one of us will be wearing it.
I need you guys to step it up. By the way, real quick update on this Kalshi. Still don't know how to Kalshi. There was there's issues, as you can imagine, with this betting market that's not betting, whatever.
All right.
Cardi B to quote unquote perform in the halftime show. She appeared in the halftime show. She was one of the celebrities that was under the house.
So was Ronald Acuna.
No, that was a fake story.
I know.
She didn't sing, but she was kind of dancing.
That counts.
They're not paying out people that bet yes that they would perform.
Whoa,
that's
performed.
ridiculous.
She performed. The people on the field are performers. That's a ripoff.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's a
ripoff.
This company is really sketchy, man.
That's a ripoff. She's a performer. She was a performer. As was fake Ronald, and then remember the people that were telling you that the fake little kid, too. That was another one, too.
Coming up next, Tim Kelly of On Patterson with a first pitch to spring training report. He joins us next in Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Spring training begins. I'm Connor Thomas, and pitchers and catchers are reporting to Clearwater today for the Phillies, officially marking the start of spring training. And with that, Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski recently met with the media, got a chance to talk about how the offseason's gone and their thoughts ahead of that spring training getting going. And Dombrowski talked about one player in particular, with Nick Castellanos still on the roster but expected to be moved. Where does that situation stand?
Well, we continue to talk to clubs about that, and that's our focus prior to the start of spring training. So that's something that we'll continue to work on this week.
Is that something that you hope to have resolved this week?
Hopefully, yes.
So we could have some first week of spring training breaking news on Castellanos. We'll keep you updated on that and all the news from the Phillies down in Clearwater. The Sixers will wrap up their pre-All-Star game portion of the schedule with a home game tonight against the New York Knicks. Embiid, Grimes, Barlow, all questionable. That game tips off at 7:30. Yeah, no more 10 p.m. tip-off times. That's great, and you can hear it live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Also in Eagles news, they brought back, or retained, I should say, a couple of coaches on the offensive front. Running backs coach Jamal Singleton and wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead, both staying with with the organization. Tim Kelly of On Pattison joins us next for an update live from Clearwater. This update's brought to you by Uber Eats. You hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at La Scala's from now to 3/31. Get a buy one, get one free deal on Rigatoni Vodka on the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
But first, let's hear what they got into earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
What should the attitude of Phillies fans be going into 2026? You can tell us what yours is versus what should, because mine is I'm excited, but I'm waiting till October.
I'm excited, but I'm excited every opening day.
I don't have much juice going into the season right now other than it's baseball.
And that's on them.
That's
on them. I mean, I've seen a president of baseball operations who does not understand how to manage a roster. A guy who has mismanaged the Castellanos situation.
Currently.
Mismanaged the Bohm situation. Yeah, I'm not talking about a Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah, right.
That means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. He's come here and he hasn't delivered on any of that. Like the guy you thought you were getting, it's nothing like it. He has a outfielder and a third baseman who he's just completely mismanaged. He's made those assets absolutely worthless because of the fact that he talks trash about his own players.
If they are going off of the vibe of this city, the vibe right now is we're excited to watch this baseball team, but you better freaking come through in the playoffs. And the second that they give up a lead or it's a tight game, I'm going to be under the impression that they're going to lose it. Come playoff time. I'm not talking about May, June, July, August when the pressure's not really there. I'm talking about October. And that's what they have done.
Now back to the show.
All right. We also have gotten into an interesting conversation about eras in sports. Before we get to our text line, I remind the people what we're talking about. Jordan Montgomery just signed with the Rangers. So there's been a market for the back end of the rotation.
And he's been with them
pitchers.
before, right?
Yeah, he's returning there. But
he's returning.
Over the last 12 hours, there's been a lot of signings out of nowhere.
Where did Verlander go?
Back to Detroit. So he's doing
I'm telling you, Detroit.
The send-off season with the Tigers.
Detroit looks solid.
Yeah.
They were already solid. They look solid.
I saw John Heyman saying Zach Gallen's still available. I thought he was.
Yeah, I don't think he's been signed, right?
Sorry. Yesterday it was heating up per Bob Nightingale, and the teams that were showing interest, the Padres. That's been a team that's been mentioned a lot. Padres, Orioles, Cubs, Diamondbacks. It's crazy to me that he's still out there.
Yeah, he's heating up like the snow in Philly right now.
Yeah.
Well, hey, melt, baby, melt.
Like last year was a down year for him, right? Yeah, 4.83 ERA, but he Cy Young finalist back-to-back years just 2 years ago.
I wonder if he's just like standing really hard on a certain level of contract.
Maybe
he could be. I remember how many of these guys have to. How many of these guys end up having to eat crow and take a smaller deal because they just don't find what they want?
Yeah, I just found that one interesting, that he's still like out there. You're probably right. It's probably maybe the amount of years and money that he's been looking for that teams aren't. Because the last 2 years, since his Cy Young candidacy season when he finished third in the voting, his ERA went up both seasons. So maybe that's part of it. One of the other topics we did, you just heard the reset there, but we've also gone to a conversation about your favorite era of any sport. Doesn't have to be your favorite sport, just any sport where you say, this is the best era that I remember of this sport. And we're also trying to figure out if anybody would say a current era right now in sports. And I don't know if we would get any answer other than maybe baseball. Like, is this the best era of hockey?
No, it's absolutely not. And the 80s hockey was much better.
Is this the best?
I'm telling you, you guys, the 80s was the best era of just watching sports on a nightly basis. You would watch a hockey game. They were 7-5.
Right.
6-4, 8-5. It was wide open. It was wild.
Yeah.
Like the games were wild. You didn't watch 2-1, and then that damn left wing lock came in, and games started to be boring.
Changed everything.
It was terrible.
Nobody would say basketball right now.
No,
nobody.
not
Unless you really like three-pointers and guys sitting on the bench.
And guys not playing.
Yeah,
and then I don't even know if you could say football. What have we got on the text line?
Someone did say 1890s college football with no helmets and no NIL.
Yes.
But we did also
that was
get,
when like Penn was winning national championships.
They said shout out the Ivies.
Yeah.
Those were the days. But we also got someone who said 90s NHL. Gretzky, Lemieux, Detroit versus Colorado. That was the best hockey era.
Yeah, and I grew up, late 90s, early 2000s. Like those Flyers teams were so much fun. So much fun to watch. So I could see that being you go more 80s though for hockey.
Oh no, it's perfect. No, the 80s. Oh, the 80s compared to 90s hockey. 80s hockey was better. It was wide open. It was so much fun. If you were just a casual fan, it was wide open.
Right. All right.
Love that stuff.
Well, we'll continue checking the text line on those topics.
Don't get me started on music.
Our Phillies question is what the attitude should be for fans going into 2026. I saw Johnny Marks in the hallway.
Sunglasses in the building.
Rocking the sunglasses in the building. I hope he starts the show with the sunglasses on.
He should, and he's wearing the aviators. He thinks he's it's too old a reference for you, but he thinks he's Ponch.
Well, maybe Johnny Marks will join us in studio because he called us out yesterday. But let's talk to the man who covers the Phillies for On Patterson. We always love his work. And I got to first find out, Tim, when did Tim Kelly arrive to Clearwater?
I arrived like yesterday afternoon, so yeah,
all right,
it's expensive to be down here, so not too long before.
So are we settled? What did you do first? Because I got to live vicariously through you. I know you didn't just hunker down your hotel last night.
Well, I went to the grocery store and I bought food because I didn't have food here. I like going to Publix in Florida, so that's the first thing I did.
I tell these guys, Tim. I tell them about Publix.
That's great. I've been
there.
The
best.
It's great, but I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning to a loud noise, and it turns out one of the drinks I bought exploded in the fridge. So,
oh my god,
I have that to look forward to when I get back to the hotel today.
That sucks.
That's always good.
It's a good way to start. All right, Tim. So one of our questions for before we start talking about the latest with the Phillies and what's going on at the ballpark and if Nick Castellanos is there or will be there. We're talking about the attitude going into this season from a fan standpoint. So I get it. You're a journalist, you're a reporter, so you look at things differently than way fans do. But we all know that this team has high expectations. They themselves will tell you they have high expectations of themselves, setting a standard very high. but we also know how the seasons have ended the last couple of years. So what do you believe should be the majority rule attitude of fans going into the 2026 season for the Phillies?
I just think the attitude should be you can't win the World Series till October, so enjoy the ride. And that doesn't mean that you don't have skepticism or high expectations, or if the Phillies get off to a slow start that you can't be frustrated. But there's nothing the Phillies can do today to undo what happened in Los Angeles or what happened in New York. It is what it is. They've come close. This is not a 70-win team that is unwatchable. It's going to be an enjoyable season, and we'll see how it shakes out at the end. I don't think it's an enjoyable way to consume sports, to spend the whole season worried about what's going to happen in October, because there's nothing you can do about it until October.
But, Tim, to those people, what they're probably yelling into their radio right now, as I want to yell into my radio right now, is, but they had from the second week of October till today to do something about it. What did they do?
Well, I mean, obviously, they tried to sign Bo Bichette, and that kind of didn't go where they ultimately anticipated it. There would have been a lot more buzz in that instance than there would be. So I think that was what they tried to do. They did bringing back Kyle Schwarber is not insignificant. That is the NL MVP runner-up from a year ago, so they did that.
I don't think anybody thought he was going anywhere. Did you, though, seriously think he was going anywhere?
No, but it's clear that other teams made serious offers to try and get him away from the Phillies, so they did have to. When you give 5 years $150, like, it's clear that there were other teams pushing them where if they had slipped up, he would have gone elsewhere. So I don't think that should not count, even though it's what we expected to happen. You're going to see guys like Justin Crawford get an opportunity this year, and that did mean letting Harrison Bader go, but people want to see young guys get an opportunity to play. That means you have to have a spot for them to play. So I do think that's one thing to really look forward to this year and this spring specifically, is for the first time in a long time, you have three highly rated prospects that could all make their debuts this season. And in terms of Crawford and Painter, as soon as Painter's not going to be the opening day start, but could be on the opening day roster.
Tim Kelly of Vaughn Pattison joining us live from Clearwater, Florida. Tim, I know pitchers and catchers reporting today, but I know there have been some other players, position players that have arrived early. Who have you seen so far? Any specific reason why they're there early, or is it just to be in the 69-degree weather and not the 20-degree weather that we're dealing with here?
Yeah, I would say that's probably as good a reason as there is. I've seen Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, Garrett Stubbs, JT Realmuto. So there's some position players here. Obviously, they're not required to, and there may very well be other people that I just haven't seen yet. So those are a sampling, I guess, of some of the position players I've seen. Edmundo Sosa, if I didn't say that, he's here. So, yeah, I mean, there's a handful, but obviously they're not required to be here now. So no penalty if they're not.
Tim, I'm fascinated that the Phillies have not done anything with Aiden Miller to play him anywhere but shortstop. They continue to talk about him as a shortstop, but the last time I looked, they have a long-term contract with a shortstop. So why wouldn't they be trying to see him as a third baseman? Do you expect that? Do you expect to see him playing other positions to see what he could do from there?
I do in this spring, and that's not to say he won't play shortstop, but Trey Turner, I think, to the surprise of many, had a great defensive season last year relative to what he had done in the past. So I think he, at least for the next year or two, is at shortstop, which means Aiden Miller will have to play somewhere else. So I do anticipate in spring, whether it's second base, third base, I don't know if they would do left field, but I think it's at least an interesting idea to see what happens. But I would think second and third base are the two spots where he has a path forward potentially, and those would be where I would give him a look this spring.
What's the deal with Nick Castellanos? I know it's a pretty open-ended question, but what's going on here?
I don't think it is that open-ended of a question. He is not going to be on the Phillies in 2026. So it's a matter of when, and we can debate whether it's kind of pointless at this point to keep dragging it out and not just release him, because I would be surprised if you end up getting anyone to even take on part of the deal. But he's not going to be on the Phillies this year. So the deal is it's a sunk cost, whether it's a sunk cost for $20 million or for $17 million. his time with the Phillies is going to be over.
How concerned are you about the depth of the starting rotation, especially since we don't know when Wheeler will be coming back, and the object of, one pitching injury on the starting rotation, this team could be in a little bit of problems.
Right, and or if like Andrew Painter doesn't have a great spring and they decide he needs a little more time at AAA, I think I wrote about this last week. The Phillies do not have like a particularly attractive position to offer. You're talking about offering the chance to make a few starts this season and maybe spend more time in the bullpen. So even with the remaining free agents, their options are going to be limited. But bringing back someone like Walker Buehler, I think that is like a realistic thing that maybe makes some sense. And it depends how long they think. They said, Rob Thompson said the other day, doesn't think Zach Wheeler will be ready for opening day, but not long after that. But with that, if he's not ready for opening day and then Painter doesn't go well or there's another injury, you're pretty thin. Now, they have some non-roster guys here, but, yeah, I don't think adding another pitcher would be a bad idea.
Tim, what have you heard about Aaron Nola recently? We got into a conversation about a half hour ago about reasonable expectations for Aaron Nola, or just what your expectations are. What have you heard about Aaron Nola, and what do you expect to get out of the Phillies right-hander?
I legitimately, I don't know what to expect this year. It's one of the more open-ended things from this season. I mean, obviously he's had a tremendous career with the team, but last year was rough. There's no other way to put it. And he's thrown a ton of innings on his arm, and if he's just not the same guy anymore, that happens. That's part of the risk in making long-term investments to pitchers in their 30s. But he's going to pitch in the WBC, and I think they believe there's a chance that maybe that'll help him get off to a quicker start, which even when he was at his best, he wasn't necessarily a quick starter. There's the warm versus cold weather thing. So I'm intrigued. He's going to work hard. You don't have any questions about that with Aaron Nola. He's the ultimate team guy. But, yeah, I mean, he's got 5 years left in the contract, so they certainly need more than what they got last year.
Let's say Tim Kelly had to hold a press conference, and he was asked a question. Are the Phillies better on February 11th, 2026 than February 11th, 2025?
No, probably not. I mean, I understand why they didn't re-sign Ranger Suarez, but losing Ranger Suarez is still big, and you have a lot of uncertainty. What I would say is you have to have some uncertainty to have young guys play. You have to have a path for them to play, and that's specific with Justin Crawford, which he's earned the opportunity to come to the majors. I don't entirely know what to expect, but I think it makes sense to give him some runway, particularly early in the season. I think they've left a path for Aiden Miller if he forces their hand. Andrew Painter's going to be in the mix. I do think the bullpen is in better shape. You have a top 5 closer. Yeah, I mean, you got a top 5 closer. So I don't think it's significantly worse, but if you made me pick, it's probably slightly worse.
All right, Tim, last thing, locker questions. I know these are important. First one, you put out the tweet. You said, take it for whatever it's worth. And you mentioned that Aiden Miller's locker is in the middle of some of the more prominent Phillies players, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, JT Realmuto, and Kyle Schwarber. Is that on purpose, in your opinion?
I don't know that it's I don't think it's a coincidence, but I don't think it means he's going to be on the opening day roster necessarily either. But it's valuable for him to be around those guys and to kind of get that feel for what it could be like when he ultimately has the opportunity to get called up probably at some point this season. So, yeah, I mean, it's something that I noticed immediately in there. Now, Painter and Crawford aren't necessarily in like positions where they have multiple time All-Stars on each side of them, but they're also not buried in the corner either. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those take it for what it's worth things, but I certainly noticed it.
The other one, is there even a Castellanos locker?
I didn't notice one. I didn't look in every part of
Check in the back
locker
room
but
near the supply closet.
I just wondered, like, do you even bother? Like, everyone knows he's not coming back, but he's still technically on the roster. Does the clubhouse attendee, like, does he have to put together the Castellanos locker?
I would be floored if he shows up here at any point. I just don't think it's going to happen. So, and I think really from that moment in Miami last summer or spring, whatever it was, this is where this was headed, and it's just a matter of when there's a resolution, and I think there will be within the next week, probably.
Have you ever heard what went down? Like, has there been whispers about clearly he said something so egregious that he had to get benched, and it has led to this point? Like, have you heard more on what went down between Castellanos and Thompson?
Even if I had, I probably wouldn't be able to say it, but I haven't. But all I would say is there were multiple other instances where he said questionable things in terms of answers about Thompson, and all this is public. There was the Arizona in September last year. So it was not just a one-off thing, and I think ultimately it ran its course. It's unfortunate that you have to have a sunk cost of $20 million this year, but I don't think it was a sustainable relationship for another season. And when I asked Dave Dombrowski about that in the year-end press conference, and he didn't deny that, I think it was clear what direction this was going.
All right, Tim. We appreciate
Thanks,
the time.
Tim.
Don't work too hard down there.
Yeah, Tim, like really, don't.
All right.
And what was in I got to know now, what was in the fridge? What was the drink? Was it a soda?
It was, no, it was kombucha, so it's fermented. And the person before me in the hotel had left the cold all the way up to the max temperature.
Oh, no.
Yes. But I thought someone was shot or something, to be completely
I would
honest with
imagine.
you. So
I would imagine. Yeah.
When I found out it was just that, I was actually relieved.
Well,
good job.
That's good to hear. All right,
Enjoy
Tim, we
yourself,
appreciate it,
Tim.
man. We'll talk to you again soon.
See you, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
There's Tim Kelly from On Patterson. Year 7 of him covering the Phillies. Kombucha. I've never done the kombucha. I've never had it.
Connor?
No, I haven't. It's kombucha.
Kombucha. I've never
Have you
had
ever?
it.
You've never?
No, never.
Have you?
No.
I know my sister has. Like, she raved about. I think it was one of those raved about it for like a month things. And
Yeah,
then,
it's one of those hot in the streets for a little bit.
and then it
then
just.
that's the Clearwater problem.
She never drank it again.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem in Clearwater is a drink exploding
you
while
gotta
you
have
enjoy the weather.
because it's so good for you and all this kind. And then it's like, whatever happened to that thing that you don't drink?
Well, it's like
anymore?
I had friends of mine that did the greatest pyramid scam ever, the Mona V. You ever heard of Mona V?
No, but I know of Viva Verve.
Okay, it's probably a little young for you guys.
Were you part of the Verve?
I'm familiar.
No, but Mona V was a great pyramid scam where people were selling this acai berry or acai berry or whatever it was drink, and then they would getting you to sell it to your friends, and it was a great pyramid scam.
Yeah, no, I know. That happened during when we were in college.
Yeah, and
it was Verve.
Oh, it was big.
Verve was an energy drink that had all the nutrients in there.
It's great for you.
And I know friends that bought in, paid the $500 to be a part of it. I called them idiots. They were on a Zoom call, or I guess Skype at the time, because it's pre-Zoom, with like two of the heads, and I was like, this is a pyramid scheme. And they're like, get him out of this room. The guys on the other end of the
really?
Get him out. Get him out of there now.
They don't want you to know.
He can't be here. And I was like, you guys heard this is a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid scheme.
How is this not?
It is.
All right, coming up next. This is ridiculous, man. People always trying to find the get-rich-quick schemes.
And then people fall for it.
Could a top 10 list make us roll our eyes? Well, it happens all the time. This one may make Connor cry. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right. Want to know why betting the winter games on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge makes sense? Well, they have literally everything to choose from. From game lines to medal counts to finding your angle on the events you care about most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. The winter games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with a bet on FanDuel. Curling matches, they might start slow, but they get tense. There's speed skating decided by inches. How about Lithuania going for gold in the artistic figure skating dancing competition, even though the woman in her name's Allison Reed. That doesn't scream Lithuanian to me, but hey, I'm all for it. Go for gold. Anyway, there's so many things to bet from. Of course, hockey as well. Just check them out. Go to FanDuel, play your game. Got to be 21 plus. President of Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Pitchers and Catchers Report. I'm Connor Thomas, and Pitchers and Catchers reporting to Clearwater today for the Phillies, officially marking the start of spring training. With that, Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski recently met with the media to talk about where the team stands coming out of the offseason. Rob Thompson, well, he got a chance to talk about his belief that, well, the team's better right now than they were at this point last year.
I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it this year than I was last year because I think we're better this year on this day this year than we were on the same day a year ago.
So we'll see if that plays out. Not everybody agrees with the manager, but we've got a chance to see it in a little bit. Now, we still have over a month till opening day, but we'll keep you updated on all the Phillies news from down there in Clearwater as baseball season gets going. Sixers will wrap up their pre-All-Star break game schedule with a home game against the New York Knicks tonight. Embiid, Grimes, Barlow, all questionable for tonight's game, so we'll keep an eye on that. They tip off at 7:30. You can hear it live here on The Fanatic. And the Eagles, well, they have a couple of coaches that they're retaining from last year's offensive staff. Running backs coach Jamal Singleton, wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead will both be parts of Sean Mannion's offensive staff going forward. This update is brought to you by Audible, and if you're stuck in traffic, take care of you with help from top voices and well-being on Audible. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com/wellbeing. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
This is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, this top 10 list will wait a little bit because you just heard the voice of Johnny Marks. And Johnny Marks, the Unabomber, is now in studio with us.
Nice glasses, though.
Well, I'm in mourning this morning.
Why is that?
Mourning this morning. Well, that poor Nick Castellanos, man. I'm really, really feeling for him. Phillies have really treated him wrong. I feel really, really, really bad for him.
I don't feel
this
bad
mistreatment.
for him. I think the Phillies just screwed up his value by talking about
the
him the way
Phillies
they
screwed
did.
it up.
But I did see something on social media yesterday. Somebody said, I can't believe.
It's just what I said. I'm in mourning of it. I'm ready to scream and yell at people over this because there's actually people in the media that are presenting this picture of
done wrong.
Nick Castellanos is being done wrong. The Phillies are handling this poorly. You can make the case that Dave Dombrowski shouldn't have showed his hand, which is he's not coming back
for 3 years now.
He's right. He's not coming back. He's the worst defensive outfielder in the league. He's a platoon DH at this point. They don't have any value really. But why not hold on to him to see if there's an injury or maybe someone gives you $1 million and they say you pay 19, we pay $1 million. It's worth it to hold on to him.
They've misplayed the situation. Both things, as what you're saying is correct. Both things can be true. They're not screwing over Nick Castellanos.
Or nobody's stupid and they knew they weren't bringing him back and he sucks and he couldn't play right field anymore and they have Kyle Schwarber that's a DH. So this idea that, they could have fooled people into thinking that they were going to bring him back, the likelihood is they weren't going to.
By the way, you know what's amazing?
Anyway.
You mentioned that he's really bad in the outfield. How about historically bad? There's a Twitter account called The Warmonger. It's just, one of these stat accounts. Since they started tracking OAA, which is outs above average, so it's getting to the ball.
But John and I were just talking about OAA.
Catching the ball, but going and catching the ball.
I thought it was an insurance company.
No, that's USAA.
USAA.
Gronk wants to get in, but he can't.
Exactly.
He lies his way in.
He is statistically, since they started tracking this in 2016, the worst outfielder in the history of this era. The second worst, Kyle Schwarber. They were both in the outfield the year they went to the World Series. How crazy is that?
What could possibly go wrong? I do not want to taint this segment because I'm very positive on the Phillies, but Nick Castellanos has had his moments in Philadelphia. It was fun sometimes. A lot of times it wasn't fun. I don't think Nick's a bad guy or anything like that. Right. I'm ready to move on, and so are the Phillies. Yeah.
So the reason why you're in is because we were addressed on your show yesterday, and we appreciate you giving us the pub. We gave you the pub back today. I want to play the clip first, and then we'll continue the conversation. This was you, per sources, John Marks yesterday on Middays with Marks.
When he got on a little bit of a roll there, I started feeling it. I started feeling a little bit, Rob, because despite what the negative Nancy's saying in the morning with Kincade and Salciunas on 97.5 The Fanatic, I am excited for this Phillies season. I've gotten there. And what he said about the bullpen. Last year at this time, Duran was not in the fold. And they had signed Jordan Romano. And we were talking about, Romano did this and he did that, and he was brutal. So if you look at this, and you look at the bullpen right now, and I know Keller's going to pitch in the World Baseball Classic, and that's a little bit concerning. They have a deep bullpen. I'll say I'll put the lineup equal to what it was last year. Your right fielder may be better, may not be better. Defensively, he's certainly better. And I don't know what Crawford's going to give you. He's going to be better than Rojas, right? Or he couldn't be any worse than Rojas, I suppose. He's a better hitter. He's got a better idea of what he's doing at the plate. Rojas never hit 330 at AAA. So I'm excited to see what Crawford does. Brandon Marsh is Brandon Marsh, and they're not as deep as I would like them to be in the outfield. Their rotation really worries me because without Wheeler in there, they're really, really light. Their rotation right now, to me, is the biggest question mark going into the season. And that's why I would disagree with what Thompson saying about, we're better off this year than we were last year. They could be. I don't think it's that far off, but losing Ranger and not having Wheeler is a major thing.
My question, Johnny Marks. You said everything that we've been saying.
That's exactly our point.
So what's the difference? Other than I'm excited for opening day. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, but because when I tune into the show, it doesn't seem like you guys are really excited for the season. You're excited for baseball. Everybody's excited for the Phillies.
We are.
But your guys are very negative on the team right now.
Yeah, because it's been the same ending the last 3 years, and I have not seen them do enough
what
this
should we be
offseason to say
positive
it'll be
about?
different.
Well, they have a good club. I don't know if you heard
They have
that.
a good club.
They have a good club.
They signed Kyle Schwarber. I don't know if you forgot.
Yeah, Kyle
I did.
Schwarber. That was a real shocker because Baltimore was going to really be, or Pittsburgh.
Well,
that was going to be a real sweat. Everybody was really sweating whether Schwarber was coming back.
Again, it's crazy that I have to be the voice of reason on the station again.
That is scary.
But Positive John has arrived. This is a playoff team.
Yes.
Okay.
It's there for them to miss the playoffs. If Zach Wheeler doesn't come back like the Zach Wheeler we know, they're thin in the rotation for sure. I'm not telling you there's not reasons to be concerned, but if they can get to the trade deadline and they're right there in the playoff hunt, they're over 500, they're a good club, then I feel great because now you can make moves to fill in the blanks and to change things. Duran was a big move they made last year. Harrison Bader really solidified the outfield. It's not uncommon that you go into a season with question marks in one area or another, in a couple different spots. Not everybody has a complete team.
Right.
They don't have a complete team, but they're also positioned, and I hate to say this because we have to watch the games every day and it's a long season. Mm-hmm. It's all about how they're playing in September and October. It just is. And this team was good enough if they would have maybe, I don't know. I mean, Dave Dombrowski's attitude after the season was everything's fine. If the ball would have been hit this way, a ball would have been hit that way. Real Muto, the umpire apologized to him. We really beat the Dodgers. I didn't feel like that. I was unhappy with Dombrowski's urgency in the offseason. But let's not go overboard and act like this team sucks.
No, they don't
say
suck.
that.
How many wins?
I said 92, they're going to the playoffs.
We all said they're going to the playoffs, and they're all going to have 90 wins.
Okay.
So how's that negative Nancy?
They're World Series contenders then.
They are. But
Okay, Connor, then I don't need to be here.
No, that's
is,
it. But what John is bringing up is a good point. You guys are getting the same input, but the output sounds different when you talk about the team.
Because we have logic of understanding that the same things could have been said. 23, 24,
yeah, I was about
25.
to bring up the Jumanji.
We've had 3 years.
What year
We've
is
had
it?
3 years. We could have had this conversation 23, 24, 25. And we have 3 years of data to show you this team gags.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When the lights are brightest. And by the way, the gagging has gotten worse.
What happened Sunday night? Sam Darnold took home a Lombardi. How many years of data did you have to say that dude will never win?
Connor,
Stuff
you're the one who
changes.
kept saying that. I didn't. I kept trying to correct you.
But you understand my point.
But I kept trying to correct you on that.
But to your point, I agree. I don't think anybody should be expecting them to win a World Series this year based on the moves they made in the offseason, not changing the core. I'm not going into the season expecting a World Series. But we know, and this is where I actually agree with Dombrowski as much as I hate to admit it, that it's really about where you are as a team when you enter the playoffs. And if you're telling me the Phillies don't have as good of a chance as anybody with Zach Wheeler, Chris Sanchez, Luzardo, and the bullpen they have going into the playoffs, I totally disagree.
No,
It's the same people that come up small.
What's the
each
bats?
year.
The bats. It's the bats. I'm not worried about it. You tell me Wheeler and Sanchez, I'm loving it. And I said before, if you give me a great bullpen in a playoff series, I'd rather have a great bullpen than a great rotation.
Agreed.
And if you tell me I get Wheeler, Sanchez, and a great bullpen, I'm feeling great. But the bats, I know that they're coming up small. They've told me over and over again
I don't
they're coming
know
up small.
But I don't know that. I hear you, and I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. But I can't the focus that I hear out of you guys is they didn't change anything. Damn it, we're going to get to October and the team's going to lose. Well, we have April, May, June, July, August, September. We have the trade deadline to where that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. They can add an impact back.
Well, if they do,
at the
then
trade deadline.
our opinion can change.
Okay.
And then it can possibly change. And if we also see that maybe JT Realmuto doesn't continue to be a declining asset, if we see that Bryce Harper maybe gets some power back, if we see that these kind of things can change the opinion.
Well, they have a good club.
They have a good club.
Here's
you got a good show, Johnny.
One of the things that bothers me the most about this team coming back, and you and I look at it the same way. He's not a bad baseball player, but do I really need to do another year of Alec Bohm, where I know he's going to slap singles? He's 6'5" and he hits like Johan Rojas. Doesn't run like Johan Rojas, but he hits like Johan Rojas. And he straight up admitted not that long ago, how many months ago was October, that he got tight. Like, he said it.
He said it.
Yeah.
We get tight. Like, I don't need that. I don't need the guy that had to get benched in a playoff series because of his attitude, and then the next year admit that he got tight in a playoff series, and they, like Castellanos, have tried trading this guy publicly, and they don't. And he's now all of a sudden their third baseman that they love. And you know that Topper's going to say at some point this week, he's got a great attitude. He's coming
Well,
in.
Topper already said, well, we didn't say anything about trading Bohm when the Bichette thing came up. That we didn't say that.
Yeah, he was going to play shortstop.
Right,
yeah,
sure.
Just like they say, it was essential to us to bring back JT Realmuto. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, you
because
moved away from it.
You already said that if it was Bichette, you weren't bringing him back. So all they do is double talk.
Yeah, they almost
double talk.
They almost backed their way into improving their lineup, and then ultimately they didn't end up getting Bichette. But I will I've now come back around to being the Alec Bohm defender, because a lot of people are talking like that you have Wes Helms playing third base.
No, you don't.
Where the biggest problem with Alec Bohm is that he's being relied on to be your cleanup hitter and not your sixth.
If he's 7, you're feeling good.
Yeah, he's been productive. He's been productive. He can be an RBI machine. He hits a lot of doubles. If we're expecting power to cut, he's a 16 home run guy, 17 home run guy. So if you just take away just look at what he is and not what he should be. He should have been top 5 pick. He should have had more power. He should be contributing more in that department. He shouldn't be hitting cleanup. So the bigger issue to me is that with what they've done with the lineup is who protects Bryce Harper.
You need Garcia to be good.
Well, and you're going to have to. Thompson, just like he has previously, is going to kind of pick and choose his spots to where who's batting cleanup. He does a pretty good job of moving guys around in the bottom of that order.
He really does.
Yeah, so if Garcia's hot, they'll probably put him at cleanup. If he's not, they'll put him at 6 or 7. I like the bottom of the lineup, and I said it in that cut you just played. Justin Crawford is miles above what Rojas was at the plate. Miles.
Leave him at 9. Let him play. I don't like him playing center. I wish he was playing left.
Yeah.
But let him bat 9th and leave him alone. Let the kid ease in. I'm very excited to see him play.
I am too.
Something new.
And Marsh being your everyday left fielder, or at least your left-handed platoon, isn't necessarily ideal. But, yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about one of the biggest players on the team right now, Otto Kemp. Get in the zone, Otto zone.
Championship-type player.
You're looking at potentially.
Why is Sales not on this?
Wait. I'm going to say.
I
have to have
you
the
and
shirt.
I both used to do reads for them on the old network that we worked on. You used to do the reads for them, too.
Oh, get in the zone,
yes,
Auto Zone, yeah.
that.
Or
Come
O'Reilly
on.
Auto Parts.
There you go.
You
O'Reilly.
can he's made it. MLB.com, you can buy an Otto Kemp replica jersey.
Really?
For $150.
Over under
Oh, my
15
God.
home runs this year for Otto.
Over under 15 of them being sold.
Over.
I'll take the over on
Well,
both.
wait a minute. He has a big family. I'll go
Johnny
over
Marks,
too.
we'll be listening
Thanks,
to you
Johnny.
coming up at 10 o'clock. Coming up next, it's the Connor Thomas segment, because I think he might cry, and I think he also may find a new hero. That comes right next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Our friends at Dan White & Associates have been in business for almost 4 decades. That means, well, Dan is seasoned. That's what I like to call him. But he's also a specializer. He specializes in retirement and financial planning. That means he could help somebody out that's maybe in the Connor and Andrew time zones, because they're talking about financial planning to be able to maybe buy a bigger home, to be able to pay for college educations, things like that. Or he can specialize in people in my time zone. People who are worried about retirement, people who are worried about being able to live the lifestyle they want to live when they don't have to work anymore. Each client's unique needs get addressed individually, and they get a different plan for everybody. But how do they know what your needs are? They have personal conversations with you. You can go to one of their educational seminars that they host throughout Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland, so you can get a chance to go, have a nice meal, listen to a conversation with them, or then you can have that complimentary no-risk consultation one-on-one in their office in Glen Mills, PA, Middletown, or Lewis, Delaware. They're great, great folks, and they do not intimidate at all. They're very, very relaxed, and you can find out that finances and retirement don't have to overwhelm you. It can be a discussion that you can feel that you get on the right track. DanWhiteandAssociates.com. Trust these folks. Get in touch with them. DanWhiteandAssociates.com.
Spring training is here, but there are still big questions about the Fanatic app.
We thank Johnny Marks, who stopped in last segment looking like the Unabomber. He will be starting his show coming up at 10 o'clock. Ray Dunn back after the Lady Owls' tough loss yesterday down in San Antonio.
That second quarter really did them in, the 4 points.
Yeah, 4 points in the second quarter. Not really a...
Ray thought Nick Nurse stepped in to coach the quarter.
well, no, that would be the third quarter.
Yeah, he thought they stepped in to coach the second.
That'd be
If they just coach swapped, maybe we'll figure it all out.
You never know. By the way, we forgot to get to this earlier. The Eagles are still Super Bowl champions.
Correct.
At least according to like 3 million people. There was a drop-off in viewership for this Super Bowl. The Super Bowl 59 still holds the record for most viewers for the Super Bowl, 127.71 million viewers. It dropped to 124.9. We felt it, like that it just wasn't. That's still Boffo numbers.
Huge numbers.
It went down as the largest viewed event in the history of NBC. The second quarter, late second quarter, right before the halftime show, was the biggest moment of viewership in a history of a Super Bowl. So they did have like some sort of historic mark. But the overall numbers going down is not surprising because who was excited about that game.
And then the numbers dropped at halftime because you had people ditching because they were protesting something.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like it's nonsense.
But I'm talking about
the numbers were
the
great.
game. The game
numbers
itself.
were great.
Yeah,
but the game was crappy.
Yeah.
Last year you had another, but the game was crappy last year too. It was crappy
Not in the
last
same
year.
way. It was a different kind of crappy. It wasn't competitive, but at least you got offense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but when one team is, the thing is, the game was still in the balance in the third quarter. It wasn't last year. Game was over at halftime last year, pretty much.
Right, but look, Eagles versus Chiefs.
Oh, yeah,
Hurts
there's more
versus
start.
Mahomes,
Yeah,
lot
more
better
start.
than Darnold versus May.
And people also wanted to see the Chiefs get smoked, like nationally.
It kept
I think
going,
people
yeah.
enjoyed it, which is shocking because it was Philly.
Yeah,
It was basically a 3-hour snuff film on national TV.
Yeah, it was really
with
not
Kendrick in the
enjoyable.
middle.
All right, Connor, you want to hear about your next hero, or do you want to potentially shed a tear?
Try and make me cry.
So there's this guy. I don't know his first name from the MLB Network. Shredder.
Yeah, this is the dude who had Brandon Marsh, top 10 left fielders.
Yeah. I don't know his first name. He just goes by the Shredder.
Yeah.
Apparently. So the Shredder put together his top 10 relief pitchers heading into the 2026 season. Number 10, Jason Adam from the Padres.
Okay, he's a nice pitcher.
The Padres have 3 members in the top 10.
I was going to say they're going to have
It's
a couple.
why I remember how last year I was like worried about them, even though like their bats were just non-existent because we talk about the bullpen and how good they are, but whatever. Josh Hader, 9.
Okay.
Adrian Morejon of the Padres at 8. I'll skip number 7. Garrett Whitlock of the
are you
Red
skipping
Sox.
7?
Oh, you'll find out. Andres Munoz, 5th of the Mariners. He was tremendous last year. Cade Smith does not bet on whether or not he's going to throw a ball or a strike of the Guardians. Edwin Diaz, 3rd. Mason Miller, 2. Aroldis Chapman, incredible.
I know who 7
at
is.
number 1. Who?
Duran.
Do you have a guess?
I
It's
would
Johan
imagine
Duran.
it's Johan Duran.
He did not make this guy's top 10 list.
What?
But guess who did?
Wait a minute. This guy works for the MLB Network? Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Stupid.
Who's
He didn't
7?
put Duran. Who's 7?
Matt Strahm is considered a top 10 relief
That's
pitcher
the
in
stupid-
Major League Baseball.
Okay, that is the stupidest
Your
content.
boy.
7?
What do you mean, my boy?
Matt Strom?
When did this guy become my boy?
You love Matt Strahm.
Well, you do love Matt Strom.
Matt Strom. I thought you were talking about the Shredder.
No, Matt
Wait a minute.
Strahm.
I
Wait a
think
minute.
Matt Strom gets a bad rap here, but
Matt Strom is a top 10.
I don't think he's
Wait a
top
minute.
10.
Wait a minute. This guy fell asleep doing his homework.
He had Duran as an honorable mention.
He's
Oh,
out
nice.
he's out of his mind.
Guy was all MLB last year.
He's out of his mind.
That's crazy,
the
man.
Shredder.
The Shredder.
He's trying to get clicks. He's trying to get clicks from Philly. He's trying to do the
Shredder, man.
He's trying to do
It doesn't
the
make me cry.
the Sims. He's trying to do the Chris Sims
your
thing.
boy's
Makes me
gone.
laugh.
All right. Now here's your new hero. We have a new 9th-year senior for you to follow the life of.
9 years, that's it?
Well, is he a Division 1 guy or a Division 3 guy?
Division 1.
Oh, okay.
Where'd you play?
Solomon Tuilapu is a linebacker for Montana. So he's not even the guy. McCormick was at least in Miami.
Yeah, right. I'd
How
stay
can
in
you
Miami.
get? Wait a minute. How can you get 9 years?
He's turning 26 in March.
Okay.
Entering his second season at Montana after his collegiate career began in USC. He had 2 surgeries, one in 2018 his foot, one in 2020 his knee. Then you have the COVID thing.
Wait a minute.
I'm trying to he was a redshirt senior in 2022.
Wait a minute.
Where he played all 14 games for the Trojans. He had another injury in 23, which would have been his senior season. Then he played in USC in 2024. Then went to Montana. I don't even how did he play in Montana last year?
Wait a minute.
I don't know, but I love this guy.
I just found out Brian Kenny is the Shredder.
Oh, that's his nickname?
Brian Kenny is the Shredder.
He calls himself that?
I did Brian Kenny's show on the ESPN Radio Network. We're going to try to get in touch with Brian. I will take him out at the knees on this.
You can't.
Is he out of his mind? Brian is one of the, by the way, great dude. He is one of the fun. He's so much fun. He's out of his mind. I don't even know if his number's still on my phone. We're going to get Brian Kenny on to talk about this. This is ridiculous. He's the Shredder.
How about that?
Oh my gosh, Kenny is such a good dude too.
You can't be putting.
Oh no, you
Matt
cannot do
Strom's
that.
on.
Oh my gosh,
your
that's
thoughts
terrible.
on ninth-year linebacker Solomon Tuliapu,
Grow
who is
up.
playing for Montana now.
Grow up.
Don't grow up. Never grow up.
No, grow up.
Stay in college as long as you can.
No, grow up.
He turns 26 years old.
Why are we making the kid grow up?
The kid?
Yeah, the kid.
First of all, you're not a kid at 26.
Yeah,
we keep pushing the age of kid up.
Bro, Drake May is 23 years old and just was the quarterback of the AFC champion New England Patriots.
Seriously, you're not
and
a
this
kid.
guy's playing linebacker for the Montana Grizzlies.
26, you're not a kid. You are somebody's kid.
He's
You are
getting his education.
His mother and his
Are we
father.
anti-education
He's
now?
their kid.
I don't think he's going to
his
class.
education.
I don't think he's
Oh
going
my
to class
gosh.
anymore. Didn't Carson Beck straight up say that? Remember
Dude.
a couple of weeks ago? He goes, dude,
He's in Miami. Montana, they're very big on their academics.
Peter Pan, grow up. Get a job.
If I could be Peter Pan, I'd be Peter Pan.
All right. Everybody have a great rest
You
of your
wear those
day.
kind of pants.
We warmed up Johnny Marks. Middays with Marks comes your way next at 10. Ray Dunn back in the saddle as well. Everybody have a great rest of your day tomorrow. 2 hours of the Checo. Andrew with us on a Thursday morning. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on The Fanatic.